Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Always good to be with you on a Monday. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. You miss anything, don't worry about that. We got you covered all 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the program, both the iTunes and in our own audio vault. Always go check us out, obviously. Share, comment, all that good stuff. Email if you want, jcs@979espnradio.com. Twitter @JCameronShow, WTSM app. So many ways to stay with the program and the station all day long. And, of course, we're on YouTube and Periscope. Hello, YouTubers and Periscopers. Now, there you go. The introduction is all set. Next segment, you'll hear from Kendall Briles, the new offensive coordinator at Florida State University. I don't know if you heard about that. This Kendall Briles guy's coming in here trying to get it righted. I'm excited. It's funny. I've run into a few people, and obviously, the buzz is in the air, Tom. You feel it in Tallahassee right now. It is certainly in the air. That's the thing about football season is that, no matter how even keel you try to keep it, no matter how disappointing last year was, and it was, and no matter how many times you tell yourself, I'm not doing it, I'm not falling for the nonsense, I'm not going to be that guy with the garnet and gold-colored glasses that just buys in because that's what he wants or she wants to have happen, right? We all need this to be better. Hell, I could argue I need it more than you guys. Because financially, it certainly impacts us when there's a buzz in the air about Florida State football as opposed to, say, apathy.
Well, we do have a lot of business owners listening to this program because, the radio demo is quite wealthy. So I think it might impact some other people
educated,
financially.
Yeah, yes, absolutely, yeah. So you're right. It affects this town, this city, and in many of its businesses and business practitioners, including talk show hosts, producers, restaurant owners. You name it. And when
jacks of all trade.
That's right.
Those guys get hurt.
When things are down, it's down for all of us. So it's hard not to get excited or to buy in or to pour yourself into expectations and hope because the alternative is depressing. It's just frankly depressing. And there is that feel that, you've been places, you've been to cities that just don't have a lot going on, maybe economically depressed at the time, and you just sense that in the air, right? So that's kind of the feel, the alternative when things aren't right. You want to buy into hope. You want to believe that something can be better, and yet you're telling yourself, man, I got burned doing that. I got burned 2 years ago. I really thought, okay, we're moving back in the right direction, and then that was just a disaster. So changes happened. And that guy left, and a new guy came in, and he sold a vision, and he sat up there and said all the right things, and I was in. Not only that, he was affable and likable and seemed one of us. A Knoll, cared deeply, grew up loving it. And so we were all in. Look at that spring game. It was crazy. I took the picture and sent it to you. I couldn't believe my eyes.
I couldn't believe that.
I know.
That was more well attended than most FCS opponents.
That's right. I couldn't believe it either. And then the season happened. And into the side of a mountain we went. And so the whole message this entire summer, which is now thankfully winding down, has been, at least on the Jeff Cameron Show, yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, I got hope to believe because there's a track record that says so. But I'm not going to get my heart ripped in half yet again. It's clicky pins, clipboards. It's careful observation. It's all of those things. And yet, when practice starts, it kind of, to some degree, goes out the window. Because now you haven't been over there, and I don't say that to disparage. You had things to do here, and it's early. They're not even in pads yet. You don't have to be over there. But the reason I say that is maybe you haven't been bitten by the same bug that happens when you step foot on campus. And, you hear the sights and the sounds and the smells. You take all that in, and you walk out there, and you see that field in the bright sunshine, and, the energy is positive because it's the first of something. It's the first week of something you care about. And coaches obviously are really bringing it early on, setting the tone. Players trying to establish their roles, establish where they're at on the depth chart, establish that they're ready to ball and compete. All of that, you can feel that. And, of course, the assembled press, and there was an open practice for the public, and they're there, and they're excited. Everybody's buying in. You can't help but walk away from something like that somewhat re-engaged and energized. And so maybe it's just me, but I spent the weekend thinking a lot about the season and how anxious and excited I am. And I tried to be honest with myself. I tried to kind of ask myself, is this just the joy of football returning? Whether it's a preseason football game that you take on, that's not exciting, but seeing recognizable teams, faces, coaches, players, and the like engaged in this great game of football, it can't help but kind of rev you up a little bit, followed by the hope that this season will be so much better than the last and all that good stuff. But then I really do think, and I think it's happening to a lot of the fans. I think it's happening to let's hope it's happening with the players. I know that it happened early on with Willie Taggart after he made the changes to his staff, and subsequently watched how they've been able to work, within this coaching staff, how seamlessly that transition has gone, Tom. And I think more and more you find people getting very excited about the upcoming football season. Now, cautiously optimistic may be an apt description, but I think there are people who are having a hard time convincing themselves that they are going to continue to sit back and take it as it goes. We'll see. Two fingers to my eyes, two fingers back to you. I think that's becoming more difficult to do as we sit here on August the 5th and we're close to pads being donned and practice gets back under, you get another week of practice and you can hear from Briles for the first time and you'll hear that audio coming up in the second segment. There's a reason to be excited. I think people are excited about the 3-4 on defense, really creating an opportunity to put our athletes in a position to succeed. Levante Taylor may not seem like the quintessential choice to play safety there, but I like that move, by the way. I like that Stanford Samuels is going back to corner. I like these moves. I think that they are figuring out what best suits their personnel.
Some of the moves in the center have me concerned, but this is, I think... I
know what you're going to say. You're going to talk about a certain linebacker that's out there running with the ones?
A certain line, but, well, yeah, that could be.
That can't happen. I don't know what's going on there. It's early.
That's potentially... Right, it's early and the pads haven't been put on yet. That's supposed to be tomorrow, according to Willie. I think they're projecting tomorrow to be their first day in full pads. They did shells over the weekend and today. But Hamza was supposed to be moved up to linebacker. Now he's training back with the defensive backs. Woodby was supposed to be playing over the top. Now he's back near the line of scrimmage.
Something they didn't like during the spring, clearly.
Well, and they could be cross-trained. I don't want to jump ship here as somebody who's, done the beat thing once or twice and you see cross-training happen. And, hybrid roles being what they are nowadays, if you play in a 4-3 at strong side linebacker, you could also be a slot corner.
That's right.
It's a 4-2-5 or a 4-3. 3-4 could have all those kinds of wrinkles for the offense. And then everything else, I go, okay, I do want to hear these reports. I want to hear how Coach Barnett sounds when he's describing the ins and outs of the defense and the progress. I thought he was pretty honest when he talked yesterday. He just said, I want to see them put the pads on. I'll answer you the questions when I actually see them put on real pads and start hitting. Right now, I don't really know. Okay, that's fair. But next time he speaks, I sure would like to know how that's going. Because
I don't know how much he's going to reveal.
Well, the middle of the field is the thing that scares me to death. I said that all offseason long. Getting exposed up the middle of the field because it looked like we weren't on the same page at the safety level as what we needed to be in linebacker level.
It's interesting your focus right now is primarily defense. Most of the fan base went into this camp hyper-focused solely on the offense, although there's plenty of work to be done defensively. I just find it interesting that your growing concerns really center mostly around the transition on defense.
I laughed at myself this morning for that reason, just thinking about it. I'm like, wow, okay. But I feel like I think a lot of the fan base does, and every time you talk to somebody who knows a little something behind the scenes, they're on it. They're on the case. That's all I can ask for, is the offense is on the case. What do we have here in this defensive staff?
I think a group in the secondary that's going to play a lot better. You know, I've thought that all offseason, regardless whether they were going to come out and run a 4-3 or a 3-4. I think that there was a kind of confluence of events, like I like to say often on the show, that really led to subpar performances last year from players who are better than that. It's not so much that, you know, that we switched defensive coordinators, and we did, obviously, and you're trying to implement something that's being coached a certain way by a new guy, and guys don't necessarily adhere or buy in or something like that, or are there overall, is there a lack of talent at that position? I don't think so. I think a lot of those guys got nicks and bruises, some significant injuries, and ended up not at their best. Things began to go south. The offense put them in a terrible position time and again with their backs up against the wall. They lost confidence early on, and they never found their way back. Guys were playing out of position. Guys were forced into action in some cases before you'd like them to be. You had mistakes. Obviously, we didn't have the requisite talent at linebacker. So all of these things added up really to make things very difficult for that secondary. But I do think those players – first of all, let's knock on wood. Right now, the thing you see that comes out of camp early on without pads is that, you know, can we get through these days repping these, you know, obviously they're repping on both sides of the ball here. Can we get through these days healthy?
Yeah.
And so far, so good. Let's just, I mean.
Right, except for Kane, though.
Yeah, except for Kane, though. Yeah, we got some things where you kind of hold your breath a little bit, but let's hang in there and get to the start of the season in one piece.
And in case, you don't read the boards.
Since he's arrived, and that's unfortunate because
Right.
I don't know what he is. I don't know if he can play or not.
And he's supposed to be standing up and playing, so this would be valuable time.
Yeah, no,
to learn
it's not a good thing to have happen. To the degree in which he's hurt, I don't know. I'd like to be over there. I'd love to hear, from his own lips. I mean, because listen, hamstrings,
Right.
these are things that can be nightmares, and also things that if you sit out for a week, you could, depending on the degree, you'd be right back.
It seemed like a genuine level of optimism from Taggart today, Coach Taggart, regarding Tamorrion Terry and his return. Sooner than later was one of the phrases he used. He's itching to get back on the field. Of course, I know Tamorrion would be, but one of the funnier moments in his response was that Tamorrion's watching the film. He's seeing these other guys make plays. He wants to make those plays himself. And so sooner than later, he should be back. It does seem 1 week after we learned that it's a meniscus issue a scope knee. I'm thinking about down in Tampa. There's a meniscus issue with one of our defensive backs.
Yes.
But it does seem like their optimism last week is well-founded and that Tamorrion Terry will be back soon.
I didn't think that would be very long at all. I didn't get the sense that was going to take a while. And so these days, a scope, you get guys back really quickly. It's crazy. You watch guys in the NFL, obviously, where.
Yeah, Levante David down in Tampa was the one that we learned
yeah.
today had a meniscus problem.
Yeah. And so I would just tell you that largely positive. I don't know if you're already rolling your eyes and have grave concerns 1 week into practice, then that would be a real bad sign. I'm just saying that I think that this begins to kind of rise to the surface, this sense that we're more competent, more organized, more structured. It's less of a convoluted mess in terms of roles and who's responsible for what, whether you're talking about Coach Snyder taking over with the special teams and what he's able to do. Again, we already knew what Ron Dugans was going to bring to the table. You only need to see a couple of practices, maybe even one, frankly, from Ron Dugans before you recognize just how valuable a hire that's going to be for these receivers. What he will be able to do, not only from a teaching aspect, but also I think from a motivational aspect, will pay huge dividends for this receiving core. Those guys will play with a passion for him, and you need people like that on your staff. It can be said, and you've noted it before, rightfully so, that the defensive line, they don't want to let Odell down. They love him. They love him, and they can tell he loves them. And that passion is real. That's in his blood. And they play at a high level. We really, you see these guys year in and year out. Now, sometimes guys physically have setbacks, have bad years for whatever reason, but it's not a motivational problem from Odell Higgins. If you can't buy into what he's telling you, that's a problem with you. And I think that's true of Ron Dugans. He's a smart guy, a teacher, but a passionate individual who already, I think, is instilling that in his players.
Well, and don't get me wrong, when I say that they're on the case on the offensive side, the coaching staff, it doesn't mean I think that we're going to be, a top 20 offense in the country or something along those lines. I just think that they're going to be the best version of what they can be. And so for week 1 and week 2 of camp, that's fine. That's good enough. Does that mean that we're good enough offensively to win 9 or 10 games? I don't know, but I know that we're going to be the best of what we can be. And offensive line wise, if we have limitations, we have limitations. But I won't feel week to week like the players are being let down by the coaches. The coaches are looking for answers, and I do believe that this crew, everybody who's behind the scenes, to a man, I haven't heard one bad word about that group. Usually there's a little bit of
we're
sticker
trying to
shock.
get a feel, yeah.
They're like, well, this was kind of weird. I see where he's going with this idea, but this is kind of a weird tactic to do it. Everybody says no. They're just in there all damn day long, figuring out a way to make us the best we can be, and that's all you can ask.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know better than to go over the top in my praise for a freshman at a position where, traditionally speaking, they do not have a major impact on a game during the course of the season. But freshman Dante Lucas could not have gotten off to a better start as a Nole. And it reminds me of what Marvin Wilson said and what others talked about, Tamorrion Terry included in that list, about leadership and a different attitude. And you knew the physical tools in terms of what he was bringing to the table compared to what Florida State's recruited over the last few years was a little bit different. You knew you had a guy, if you will. As I like to say, that guy's got a little what for to him. You knew just through the way that he spoke about being a Nole and his passion for the game. And then you hear the teammates talk about that guy is football all the time. That's all it is. It's a passion. It's over the top how focused he is. So to hear other players say it, they usually don't sling around that kind of praise for freshmen unless it's something that is obviously true.
Well, and the buzz around the practice fields from the viewing portion today.
Can work with the ones.
Dante Lucas is already getting time with the starters.
That's not surprising, man. I told you when I was out there, I know they're just doing drills. It's an awful lot of teaching going on from Randy Clements right now. By the way, he's the right I think he's going to have a huge impact. He's got the right demeanor, I think, for a group that's probably lacking some confidence here as he continues to instill in them the fundamentals that lead to a sort of competence that then allows for one to grow in confidence. You have to know what you're doing in order to begin to feel good about what you're doing and your ability to execute. And so, when you instill in them, hey, I don't need you to do this fast. I need you to do this right. We'll worry about speed once technique is where it needs to be. If you do something poorly, if you do something incorrectly and you do it fast, you're still doing it wrong. It's just fast. So let's get this right.
Well, and that he has the relationship that makes things all the smoother because it lets me know that Kendall is not going to look at Randy and say, your offensive line is killing me too much. He might say it once or twice, and then he'll say, all right, I got to work around it. And fine. Find me some outside-of-the-box solutions if we still stink at tackle. That's as long as you're trying something, and maybe it'll work a little bit more because you're communicating it more clearly, then we're going to be the best of what we possibly can be as an offense.
Get excited with those slot receivers, man. Get excited about this offense and
tight
what
end
they're
group, the
asked to
slot
do.
receiver?
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
geez.
Get excited about Keyshawn Helton, DJ Matthews, those guys.
Lifetime warranty, our Easy Choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our New For You program that helps people with damaged credit. And listen to this, now through month end, Kraft Nissan is including 4 years or 40,000 miles of free oil changes and tire rotations on all new Nissans. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
I'm in a lot better place than our guy Tom Lang, Eddie. He's at jury duty. I'm with you having a beer at Gordo's.
Man, thank God. Jury duty.
The worst.
Dude, what would you say to get out of jury duty?
That I'm famous.
That works?
What's the worst thing you've ever said to get out of jury duty? There's the question.
I've told him that I can't possibly be on a jury because I think everyone should be imprisoned.
So you went the crazy route.
Oh, super crazy.
Everybody does that. The next time I get chosen, I'm going to act goofy. And just, and by goofy, I'm going to say something absurd like death penalty.
And then what you really get them is I showed up in a dress.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hey, I'm Jeff Doxey, Realtor for Capital Property Consultants, representing Premier Fine Homes. If you're thinking of owning your own brand new Premier home, call or text me at 850-545-4747 or email me, jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. You say where, I'll be there. Your Canopy Connection.
Napa know-how.
At Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers, get a $25 prepaid Visa card when you get any Napa Automotive battery. It's the best deal for some of the best batteries from some of the best car people around. But we might be a little partial. Anywho, pick up any Napa Automotive battery and save $25. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers while supplies last. Offer ends 8/31/19.
Don't wrestle alligators. You can't reason with them. There are plenty of other things to juggle besides chainsaws. Choose anything else. And when it comes to milk, always trust the smell test. These have been some live-long tips brought to you by the Florida Lottery. With the Week for Life scratch-offs, you can win up to $5,000 every week for the rest of your life. So you just have to live long and win on. The Florida Lottery. It's your ticket.
Claim it.
Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
This morning you were in a rush and accidentally shaved too much. You bushwhacked your facial hair. Kinda looks like you were mauled by a bear. Now in the mirror you see a mutton chop hybrid goatee. It's who you are now. When your morning is hell, just go to Taco Bell.
And try the $1 grilled breakfast burrito with fluffy eggs and crispy bacon wrapped in a warm tortilla. Only at Taco Bell. At participating stores for limited time during breakfast hours. Prices may vary. Tax extra.
Oliver here in Tallahassee. Let's talk college football in the South. Join me every weekday at 1 p.m. right here for wall-to-wall coverage of every big program in the region. Whether it's the ACC or SEC, college football is always on our minds. The conversation happens right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Monster.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
All right. Let's hear it from Kendall Briles. Our thanks to warchant.com for the audio. This from the new offensive coordinator.
Obviously, the expectations being at Florida State University, wanting to get this back where it needs to be. So we're all gas, no brakes. So we're full throttle right now. Excited about the guys. They're eager. And, everybody's working really hard to get where we need to be.
What's your thoughts on where the offense stands after 2 days of fall practice?
It's a work in progress. We're trying to get a lot of reps. This will be the first day we've got everybody back together, so that'll be good. The guys were towards the end of practice the last couple of days been pretty worn out, a lot of cramping, and that's normal. It's getting back into football shape, especially with the tempo offense. So, but I think mentally, the carryover from the spring through the summer back into fall camp, I think the guys are mentally sharp. So now we're going to start putting a little bit on them, which is going to make it a little bit tough on them, but that's going to pay off later. We'll get a lot of reps at a lot of things throughout fall camp.
standpoint? Where are you at with regards to where you want to be?
We're not where we want to be right now. And we got a lot of guys getting a lot of different reps. We got 3 different quarterbacks. They're all getting reps. So once we really hone in on knowing exactly what we're going to be doing on a daily basis, like we're installing a bunch of stuff right now, so you got a little bit of thinking. That's natural. And but the guys, from a tempo standpoint, they're coachable. I've really been impressed with the offensive line. They're not in shape where they can. Their mind is telling them to do it, but their bodies won't let them right now. But you can see it on tape. They're trying to change gears, get lined up, all that good stuff. So we'll keep coaching it, keep working it, keep getting better at it.
What are you looking for from your quarterbacks in your offense?
Production. Bottom line.
What's your process when you get a new job? You go and watch film of the previous season to see who's on the roster, who you're going to work with?
Not when I get the job, but previous to, Coach Taggart and I going back and forth about the process of him, wanting to offer me the job, all that stuff. So, of course, you look at recruiting, what we've done, look at the guys on roster, who's going to be back. Quarterback situation, obviously, is a huge deal. Looking at the schedule, who's on the schedule, what it looks like. So all those things play a part in it. I thought everything looked really good. They got good players here. We got to obviously, get things fixed up front so we can execute the way we need to. And Coach Clements is here, and we'll be able to get that done.
And you've been around a lot of great offenses, obviously, in your career. These receivers, it seems like it's a pretty deep group. Is it one of the deepest you've worked with?
From a deep standpoint, we're really not where we should be right now from a deep standpoint, just our scholarship numbers in general. But we got really, really good ones. And I think from an entire skill, if you put all the skill together, it may be one of the best skilled guys that I've ever been around. We talk about running backs, tight ends, receivers all together. We got really, really good skills, so it's on us to put them in good positions to make plays.
How important was to have Coach Clements come here to coach the offensive line, given your guys' familiarity with each other in the same scheme?
Extremely important. Extremely important. And it was important to Coach Taggart as well. And that was one of the deals going through the process is, hey, we both were agreeing on if we're going to do this thing, that we want to make sure that we get Coach Clements here because our offense is so tied into, everybody calls them RPOs, but, being able to run and throw off of things. So being able to have that and do what we do on offense, and a guy who understands it, a guy who understands the adjustments, what needs to be done, what needs to the personnel, what we need from the offensive line standpoint. So all that tied in with the run game, with the running backs and tight ends is huge.
With the offensive line, what was one of the top priorities focused on when you guys got here?
Mental toughness, physical toughness. I think there's some talent there. It's with anything. If you don't have a lot of success, then you kind of lack in confidence at times. And so and Coach Clements is unbelievable about really driving success into those guys and making them believe in themselves. And he's done it for a long, long time. And he's got those guys believing. And he's not going to degrade them, talk down to them, and he's going to make sure that those guys are playing at a high level and really believing in themselves. And we got some talent, and we'll get there.
When the offense gets into a rhythm, what is an ideal tempo for you?
I don't have you see on ESPN guys put numbers to how quick they're snapping the ball, all of that. I never look at any of that. We never, chart any of that, stat any of that. To me, you can see that on tape. Are the guys getting the ball inside? Are the guys getting the signal? All of that's on film. So we can coach all of that on film. I don't try to look at a clock and compare ourselves to anybody else. We know how it should be, and we got to get our guys to execute at that level.
What's it been like working with James Blackman, and just what do you want him to work on or work with him on in the future?
James is an awesome kid. I mean, y'all know him. Been here for a while. Unbelievable kid. He's the thing that I love about James is he's the same every single day. And that's what you have to be especially playing the quarterback position, but just being consistent on a daily basis. And he comes out here, the team loves him, off season, off the field, everything he does, he's the same way. And so James just got to continue to progress in the offense and really got to think like I think. And once the quarterback gets on that level where they're thinking like I think, they know exactly where the ball should go each and every time, and they're not having to process as much, they're more reacting, then you're playing pretty high level, and that's where we want to get.
On game day, why do you like being on the sideline as compared to the bird's eye view?
It takes out the middleman. If you're calling it from the box, then you got to tell somebody the play that you're going to run, then that person has to process that, then they have to figure out how they got to signal that, and then they got to do that. For me, as soon as I know exactly where the ball is, down a distance hash, all that stuff, personnel on the field, where the inside receivers are, I call it, they're looking at me, and so to me it just takes out that middleman. We can play at a lot higher level.
How similar is what the offense is doing now to what they were doing a year ago? Are they having to make a lot of adjustments, or is
they kind of building on that foundation?
I think them transitioning from last year has helped us from the tempo standpoint. Obviously, came in and it's a whole new terminology, a whole new system, the way that we call everything, the way that we signal. The O-line was looking and getting signals last year, so that part of it's different. But these kids are, if you're ever around younger generations, they adjust, so they want to be successful, they're eager to learn, and I think they're having real fun. We're in a good spot right now, and just got to continue to get better.
Offensive coordinator Kendall Briles meeting with the assembled press there, and that, of course, is music to your ears, audio courtesy of warchant.com. I think that, some things that stand out about that. First, I like that he doesn't just give a pat answer, takes the time to think about what he wants to say there, and also it's not sugar-coated. It's pretty simple and straightforward when a coach tells you what he wants out of his players and what he's looking for at receiver and running back is production. Okay, that's that. That'll work. We're here to produce. Yep, it's a results-oriented business. That makes sense. And then from there, he talks about James Blackman being, quote, loved by all of his teammates on and off the field. I think we knew that. We certainly thought that would have come in handy when you were as disjointed and seemingly fractured as that group was a year ago. Not here to go back over what that was and relive last season, but that was something that we all kind of wondered, this wouldn't be a pretty picture no matter what, but it certainly would be helpful to have an unquestioned leader that people want to follow at the most important position on the field. So they have that now. He may not be good enough. We'll see as we go game to game. I think he certainly can be. But there will be no problems with him as both a person and a leader of this football team, which a quarterback by definition has to be. So that's good news. I like hearing him described by the offensive coordinator as an awesome kid that is, quote, loved by all of his teammates. That, too, is important. And then, it's also interesting to hear him say that, look, we're not as deep as we need to be at wide receiver. I thought that was an interesting answer. But, when we play as fast as he wants us to play, you can see why you would have the need for the full accoutrement of receivers at your disposal, because you're going to run a lot of plays, and you're trying to wear defenses down, and you need to have the requisite number of guys to execute this offense to the tune of 80 to 90-plus plays a game. And, but he did mention something that I think we already know, and that is that Florida State is not lacking at skill position. At the skill positions, they've got talent at wide receiver, and they certainly have talent at running back. Now, sometimes that's rendered moot when your offensive line doesn't allow plays to develop, certainly. But they got the requisite skill to make people miss and to light up the scoreboard with time to throw the football.
I guess what he's getting at with receiver is that if you're looking at it 3 deep, we don't have all the answers we want. But 2 deep wise?
Oh, yeah, 2 deep wise.
We've got answers.
A lot of them, and you got a couple of dynamic weapons in there too. Obviously, when you think about it, Tamori and Terry, and I believe again, I think you're going to see Keyshawn Hilton have a huge year. DJ Matthews potentially. Those slot guys run a lot of flies. They stretch the field there too. In addition to all the underneath stuff to make you miss.
What jumped out to me is when he was talking about vetting the job, looking at the schedule. The fact that the schedule for the first year is an important thing. To me, and this is just my own opinion, but the first thing I thought of when I heard that was, okay, he's looking to use
this. But they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Wahoo Seafood Grill, Tallahassee's leader in fresh seafood, is located right behind the Best Western on North Monroe. Lunch specials start at $7.99. Be sure to try their award-winning house-made burger. Big lunch parties are also welcome. Wahoo Seafood Grill makes lunch specials a very affordable choice. Delivery is available and plenty of parking. Wahoo Seafood Grill, easy access from any part of town using I-10. Visit them online at wahooseafoodgrill.com or call them today at 850-629-4059.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all-day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
I'm not a big talker. I am a big doer. But sometimes the only way to solve the problem is to get on the horn and figure it out. So the only people I like talking to? Grainger. With knowledgeable product experts, ready with the answers to my toughest questions, calling Grainger is the one conversation I don't mind having. From machining and motor parts to valves and vacuum pumps. When it comes to solving my problems, Grainger's got my back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Introducing Hardee's Charbroiled Double Deals for $2.49 each. Your choice of the double cheeseburger, the new bacon cheddar double, or backed by popular demand, the Hardee's Classic. They're double. The beef, triple. The options. You probably noticed the echo. It happens when we double, beef, and triple the options with our Charbroiled double deals for $2.49 each. It's kind of epic. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Double the meat is compared to the small cheeseburger. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Price may vary. Tax not included.
Rich Eisen here for Honda. Summer is finally back in full swing, and that means the Honda Summer Spectacular event is too. It's during this time that you can get a great deal on an Accord, Civic Sedan, or Civic Hatchback, all of which come loaded with the smartest tech, like standard Honda sensing, a suite of safety and driver assistive features that can alert you to things you might miss on the road. But like I said, it's during this time only that these deals are available. So hurry right now into your local Honda dealer soon.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, one day after finalizing a new contract that increases his pay by $8 million this season, Patriots quarterback Tom Brady acknowledging how the deal doesn't tie him to the franchise beyond the 2019 season. Technically, it is a 2-year extension through the 2021 season, but 2020 and 2021 are void years, so Brady and the team will have to revisit negotiations before the end of the 2019 league year to extend the contract, but it is expected that they will do just that. The Red Sox turn to Rick Porcello tonight against the Royals as the defending World Series champs attempt to end an 8-game losing streak, their longest slide since 2015. Starting pitching's been one of Boston's biggest problems during the skid, notes ESPN MLB analyst Alex Rodriguez.
Take the last 8 starts for their starters. 37 innings pitched, over a 10 ERA. Those are not championship numbers. They have to fix it and fix it fast. Luckily for them, they have the Royals coming in. They have Rick Porcello, who won the Cy Young 3 years ago. Time for Porcello and other starters to get going.
The Red Sox have won their last 8 games against the Royals. Yankees infielder Gio Urshela, who fouled balls off both legs in the same at-bat last night, said he expects to play tonight against the Orioles. Yankees infielder Gleyber Torres underwent tests on what skipper Aaron Boone called a core issue, the team awaiting those results. The Mets put second baseman Robinson Cano on the injured list with a left hamstring strain. It is his 3rd stint on the IL in less than 3 months. NBA ESPN's reporting Draymond Green's new 4-year, $100 million extension with the Warriors includes a 15% trade kicker. If he were to get dealt next summer, the kicker would equate to an extra $11 million. Green's just the 22nd player in the league and 3rd on Golden State to have that kind of escalator in his deal.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So Tom mentioned it as we were going to break, and now I bring it back up for your consideration. Good times to be had, as is the case always as we welcome back football season and our role and your role coupled in it. And that would be that we always have a fan and listener appreciation event to start the year, and it's one of our favorite things to do because we get the chance to up close and personal say hello to all of you or those that are inclined to come out and say hey and partake perhaps with an adult beverage or two and reminisce about seasons past and the one upcoming, as well as moments on the show and getting caught up with what's going on in your lives as well as ours. So that's always fun. I like that, and we've done it for years now. This year, no different, except for the day and how we're going about it. We figured, and there were a couple logistical things here, that we would get this thing started a little bit earlier, certainly before our first home game, if you will. And so we're going to do it the weekend of the Florida-Miami game. That's right. We'll hate watch together. Everybody will get together and we can hate watch. It'll be a good time. So that's August the 24th, and we will have the Jeff Cameron Show listener party on August the 24th. What time are we looking at, Tom, exactly kicking this thing off as we build up to the game?
Looks like a 5 p.m. start to the event. Kickoff of the game itself will be at 7, so we'll make sure to get through all the giveaways and, and all the fun parts.
We'll rocket fire through this thing, man, and make it happen.
And there are some fun announcements to come about things that we're going to have available to all of the listeners, especially those who are of age.
Sure, and we'll tell you about that. We'll begin to sprinkle those in from time to time on the show that, hey, we've confirmed this, we've confirmed that. But the listener appreciation event, one of our favorites, along with the bowling tournament and some of the other things we do throughout the course of the year. So we always are thankful to you, most importantly, and certainly our sponsors and those that enable us to put on these kinds of events. So mark it down. August the 24th, 5 o'clock, Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. We'll be out there having a grand old time, as we're wont to do, to welcome in football and to say thank you to all of you who've been so loyal and so kind over the years listening to this show. It's really what make it possible year in and year out. So, this is really a salute to you guys more than anything else. So, August the 24th, let's go. Let's have some beers together and watch Florida and Miami.
Yeah, we'll have some fun with that, too, once the game kicks off at 7. It doesn't end at 7. It's just that we do all that we need to do so that we can all enjoy together.
Sit back and watch the game together.
We're going to stop working at 7, and we're going to watch football, just like you guys.
It's not much work to begin with, but certainly we will peruse the area.
The heavy lifting of bringing free stuff for people, it's just we can't wait for it, though, and it's a Libations Saturday Fest, I guess.
Yeah, instead of Libations Friday Fest, Libations Saturday Fest, August 24th. Mark it down. Be there. Come on, come all. Let's have a good time at Corner Pocket, and let's watch football together and root for those two teams to play. I don't know. I can't root for injury. That'd be wrong, but
3-2.
Yeah, something that reveals they're both going to suck would be great. If we could all together sit back and watch two pathetic performances that portend of poor seasons for each, right? Wouldn't that be
Which
the
would
ideal?
do us better, though? Who that Florida is the favorite would mean that
we play both. So this erroneous idea of handing the state of Florida championship belt to the winner, well, that can get thrown right the hell out the window right now. We play both. We've got something to say about it.
4-3 Miami, 4-3 Florida.
2 safeties, huh? When was the last time you saw, for the same team, 2 safeties?
I don't know that I ever have.
I don't know that I have either. I've seen each team garner a safety, but
I've seen some funny safeties too, like a quarterback scrambling and he just steps on the back line of the end zone as he's breaking the pocket.
I've seen safeties that originated from their own 40-yard line. I mean, just bizarre things that happen like that. But yeah,
well, especially sometimes with a big lead, because then the punter is just told, kick it out of the back of the end zone.
Run around, do something. Yeah,
if it goes over his head, I mean,
Well, I would. I don't know that there is an answer that you would say that you can project all these weeks later are going to be more impactful for Florida State. The bottom line is just take care of your own business. You get to play both teams, so whatever. I mean, you get to play Miami, you get to play Florida, and I don't know that either one of them winning the game necessarily benefits us most, especially coming off the season we just had. We need to worry about ourselves week to week and not all kinds of scenarios. Scenarios usually play out in such a way where if you're really, really good, you're angling to be one of those 4 playoff teams, and you can see a scenario by which there are 5 or 6 potential suitors. So therefore, you're rooting for this team to get knocked off early so that you could more easily manipulate your way into that group. That's a little, we're too far out over our skis at this point to be talking like that. We got to win some games, and I'll just enjoy the fact that it's back and watch it. One thing I will say is when we've done this in the past, and there have been moments where, for whatever reason, that weekend, either Miami or Florida was playing a bigger game or a game that was
LSU Miami last year.
There you go.
Yeah.
We have had people come out and had Canes fans come out to the Jeff Cameron Show Listener Appreciation Fest, which I always think is great. I get a chance to shoot the breeze with them.
Hey, man,
talk
we're like,
smack.
70-80% Knowles, maybe a little bit more, but there's a lot out there, a significant number of the other in-state rivals. It's fine. Come on out.
Absolutely,
you're all listeners, but the shirt's garnet and gold, so you're going to have to wear those colors. Sorry.
Did you see the footage of Juwan Williams today blocking with exuberance?
Heard about it. Did not see it.
I'll show it to you during the break. It's a different looking dude. I mean, if he's going to be like that and he's going to play like a man reborn.
It's 11 wins.
Well, no, it's just all of a sudden you got a tackle option that's not a freaking sieve, not a turnstile. You know, think about last year. Literally, my man amassed a 0. I didn't know that was possible. I thought you could grab people out of the stands and they wouldn't have a 0. I'm pretty sure that's true. But he had a 0, and that can't be a physical limitation. That's a mental hurdle to climb. That's a, paralysis by analysis, whatever you want to say. He's just got domed up. And I'm not saying he's going to be a first-round draft pick. What I am saying is that the physical tools are there. When you look at the measurables of a guy like that, you think he ought to be good. And when you couple that with the thought that, hey, listen, they saw enough from him in camp a year ago to believe that he could be good, that he warranted start. Remember the articles written about him going into last season?
It's fighting through the injury.
And about all the things he had to overcome to arrive at this point. But then they talked about what, the way he projects. He has the measurables of an NFL tackle. And so everybody thought, well, if you put it together and, let's see, maybe you got something here, somewhat surprising given his path to this point. And then, oops, obviously it all crumbled and it was a nightmare. I know that in watching Randy Clements, and you just heard Kendall Briles talk about it, by the way, referencing Kendall Briles there. He was talking about what an unbelievable, quote, what an unbelievable job he does and instilling confidence and getting guys to believe in themselves, I believe was the quote. Well, there's nobody on this line more in need of that than Juwan Williams. He needs that kind of arm around you. Not only a teaching, figure, but a guy that can kind of slowly build you into belief because of, a willingness to accept that kind of teaching, that kind of coaching, and then eventually having faith that you know what you're doing. So much about our hopes really hang on the idea that these guys are going to at least have a clue what they're doing and that they're all going to be on the same page. They may physically be lacking in a lot of ways, but at least if they're in unison and they know who to block. It sounds so simple, but last year you saw a lot of broken down plays where guys didn't seem to have an idea as to who they were supposed to block.
Yeah.
It's almost silly. I mean, when you have these kinds of conversations, you shake your head because you don't think that can ever happen at a place like Florida State, but it most assuredly did.
Well, if we're here 2 weeks from now and 2 weeks into pads practice and he's still doing these things, then it's time to get really excited.
Well, yeah, and you'll get excited, but the lights coming on and in a game situation is where he froze up last year because apparently he had done some things in practice like this before. So I'll still be somewhat apprehensive, but that's pretty quick to see a guy operating and executing in sort of the passionate manner we saw today.
Underscores that it's mental.
Yeah.
Because if you can do that in isolation, that means that you can do that a lot.
That's true. Ira Shafel, warchant.com, set to join us next. Stay tuned.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right, you see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee has officially become a Nissan town. Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because all of our new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs are on sale every day to save you thousands. And at Kraft Nissan, all new vehicles come with factory rebates and special low interest rates. You get both. On top of that, Kraft will give you actual cash back and $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. At Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your hard-earned dollar with more standard safety features, our exclusive and the original free lifetime warranty, our Easy Choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our New For You program that helps people with damaged credit. And listen to this, now through month end, Kraft Nissan is including 4 years or 40,000 miles of free oil changes and tire rotations on all new Nissans. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Win an ultimate fan cave experience. Text Fan Cave to 66555 and enter to win a $1,500 prize giveaway from Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch beverage distributor Tri-Eagle Sales. Win a 50-inch flat screen TV, refrigerator for your ice-cold Bud Light, and more. Text Fan Cave to 66555 or visit TriEagleSales.com. Bud Light, famous among friends. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Tri-Eagle Sales.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Wahoo Seafood Grill, Tallahassee's leader in fresh seafood, is located right behind the Best Western on North Monroe. Lunch specials start at $7.99. Be sure to try their award-winning house-made burger. Big lunch parties are also welcome. Wahoo Seafood Grill makes lunch specials a very affordable choice. Delivery is available and plenty of parking. Wahoo Seafood Grill, easy access from any part of town using I-10. Visit them online at wahooseafoodgrill.com or call them today at 850-629-4059.
Napa know-how. At Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers, get a $25 prepaid Visa card when you get any Napa automotive battery. It's the best deal for some of the best batteries from some of the best car people around. But we might be a little partial. Anywho, pick up any Napa automotive battery and save $25. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers while supplies last. Offer ends 8/31/19.
I'm not a big talker. I am a big doer. But sometimes the only way to solve the problem is to get on the horn and figure it out. So the only people I like talking to? Grainger. With knowledgeable product experts, ready with the answers to my toughest questions, calling Grainger is the one conversation I don't mind having. From machining and motor parts to valves and vacuum pumps. When it comes to solving my problems, Grainger's got my back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger. For the ones who get it done.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, one day after finalizing a new contract that increases his pay by $8 million this season, Patriots quarterback Tom Brady acknowledging how the deal doesn't tie him to the franchise beyond the 2019 season. Technically, it is a 2-year extension through the 2021 season, but 2020 and 2021 are void years, so Brady and the team will have to revisit negotiations before the end of the 2019 league year to extend the contract, but it is expected that they will do just that. The Red Sox turn to Rick Porcello tonight against the Royals as the defending World Series champs attempt to end an 8-game losing streak, their longest slide since 2015. Starting pitching's been one of Boston's biggest problems during the skid, notes ESPN MLB analyst Alex Rodriguez.
Take the last 8 starts for their starters. 37 innings pitched, over a 10 ERA. Those are not championship numbers. They have to fix it and fix it fast. Luckily for them, they have the Royals coming in. They have Rick Porcello, who won the Cy Young 3 years ago. Time for Porcello and other starters to get going.
The Red Sox have won their last 8 games against the Royals. Yankees infielder Gio Urshela, who fouled balls off both legs in the same at-bat last night, said he expects to play tonight against the Orioles. Yankees infielder Gleyber Torres underwent tests on what skipper Aaron Boone called a core issue, the team awaiting those results. The Mets put second baseman Robinson Cano on the injured list with a left hamstring strain. It is his 3rd stint on the IL in less than 3 months. NBA ESPN's reporting Draymond Green's new 4-year, $100 million extension with the Warriors includes a 15% trade kicker. If he were to get dealt next summer, the kicker would equate to an extra $11 million. Green's just the 22nd player in the league and 3rd on Golden State to have that kind of escalator in his deal.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory. At TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Be with you. Good Monday, everybody. Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. Missed portions of the show, like the interview I'm about to do with my man, Ira Schoffel, WarChant.com. You can find it after the show concludes, both in iTunes, where I expect that you rate, review, and share the program, but it'll be there posted upon the conclusion of the show, as well as on our own website in the archived audio. All right, let's get to it. A lot of football to talk about. I know I began the show today talking about how it's hard not to get maybe excited, get your hopes up now that practice is underway and you see little snippets from our friends at warchant.com, or you read a story or hear me and begin to talk about this team on a regular basis now as something that occurred in practice. And could be young players, could be veteran players. Either way, kind of infuses a little life into you, a little pep in the step. And then you have to tell yourself, easy, it's early. They're not even in pads yet. But you don't want to. You don't want to hit the brakes, do you? You don't want to put a governor on your enthusiasm. You want to.
Some excitement, some buzz around the program. I think we saw some signs in the spring that things were heading in the right direction. I think the people who are probably getting, I don't want to say a little bit more caught up in it, is people who just shut their ears and their eyes at the end of last season. You know, people who, I don't want to hear it. I don't believe anything I hear anymore. I don't want to see it until we get back to August of 2019. And so I think those people are kind of, maybe a little bit surprised, but I think most of us thought that they would be better on offense. I think the big question in my mind is the defense going to be any better? I think the special teams will be better. And, but there are positive signs, but I think we expected there to be positive signs, certainly on that side of the ball.
You mentioned the defense. I'll go back to the offense in a bit, but let's go back to the defense for a second. Why do you think the switch for Nasruddin and for Woodby, why didn't they stick?
Well, I think to me it must revolve, I would say, totally around Nasruddin because Jaden Woodby never really got much of a chance to go back to safety, which is what I'm sure he wanted to do. He's a 5-star recruited safety. That's what he played, and he stepped up and played linebacker for FSU last year because they needed him to. But I got to think, as he looks at his NFL prospects, that he probably thinks he's probably projects as a safety at that level. There are very few guys that and he's a good-sized kid, but I don't think he's a prototypical linebacker in the NFL. And so my guess is, if he had his druthers, he'd probably want to play safety. And, in the spring he was hurt. He had that shoulder surgery and didn't really get a chance to do much. I'm guessing they didn't love Nasruddin at linebacker. That's just my guess. Nobody's told me that. But Willie says that Nasruddin's going to play all over the field. They're going to move him around. You're going to see him at different positions. Just because he's at defensive back right now doesn't mean he won't move around. But I think it's pretty safe to say that Woodby's going to be a linebacker, and which is, it's fine. But, I don't know that that's where he needs to be long-term, but maybe that's where he needs to be for this defense.
While you're talking about linebackers, certainly it was an area of weakness a year ago. I've talked about that ad nauseum, but I've also been encouraged by, and certainly I know you and I have shared this conversation before, Amari Gaynor is a guy that is already showing some explosiveness. I know in the warchant.com write-up that was mentioned as well, and he was singled out as having done a good job by Coach Snyder. Your thoughts on what you've seen from Amari Gaynor?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got the athletic ability, and that's not a surprise. We all kind of knew that. But when they're going through the drills, hitting sleds, taking on blockers, things like that, he's definitely not afraid to put his nose in there. And and again, that's kind of what we had seen and heard about him early last year before he got the foot injury in camp, and which really set him back. So I think he's got a lot of potential. The question with that whole linebacker core again, and this is a question I don't know that we'll be able to answer. I guess if we hear some positive things in scrimmages, but really I don't know if we'll be able to answer until we get into games. Is just how they are in run support. How they take on blocks, how they shed blocks. I think that was. Last year, so many times they got in trouble when you have undersized linebackers trying to run around blocks and leaving huge running lanes. And so, part of that can be coaching, but part of that also is guys being willing to stick their nose in there. I think he's a guy that has shown the willingness to do that. But again, we have to see it in games and whether or not they're disciplined enough. So that, to me, I think there's a ton of talent at DB. I think I like the move to a 3-4. I think it's probably suits this team's personnel best. But I don't know that we're going to – of all the things you talked about, the excitement, the buzz going into the season, linebackers one, I don't know that we're going to know what is there until we actually see them in games.
Talk about the transition to the 3-4. I thought it was interesting that up in Charlotte, we both asked Willie about this, and he seemed to shy away from answering those questions. It wasn't something that he was real excited, got out there, and talked a little bit about wanting to be multiple and that they had experimented with some things in the spring and some of the things they liked, some of the things they didn't. He wasn't committed to saying they were going to switch the defense to a 3-4, but it appears now that they are. Your thoughts on why that was and that transition?
Well, he still won't say they have totally transitioned to it. I mean, even this morning, he still said, we're going to be multiple and we're going to do different things. Clearly, from a coaching standpoint, it would be much better for Willie Taggart and Kendall Briles and this entire coaching staff, and Harlan Barnett for sure, if the other teams expect them to play 3-4 and 4-3. And I'm sure that's what they're going to try to represent. Obviously, that would be what they love to be able to do. It's really difficult to prepare for a team that plays a 3-4 and a 4-3. My guess is they're going to play mostly, if not all, 3-4. I just don't, again, you look at the defensive end position, Josh Kando hasn't been out there the last couple of days. I mean, everybody's hoping for this big jump for him this year, but I guess he has a pulled hamstring. Willie downplayed it, said they're just being overly cautious, but this is a guy that has missed a lot of time over the last couple of years with injuries, and now his big year where you need him to be the guy, and he's already, missing some time again. So, and then Janarius Robinson is another guy that everybody hopes has a big year. But that's a hope. I mean, nobody knows whether or not it's going to come together for him either. So to me, they need to be a 3-4. I think your three best defensive linemen are the three that have been out there: Corey Durden, Marvin Wilson, and Robert Cooper. Now Cooper was out today we're not sure exactly why, but those three are your best three defensive linemen. So I think, and then I think you've got a lot of speed at linebacker. So I think the move makes sense. But even still, I think they're going to need to get something out of Kando and Robinson. Kando or Robinson, at least one of them. And, I don't know, just through 3 or 4 days of practice, there's no ringing endorsements right now that one of those guys is going to step up.
Flip sides, let's go to the offense where I'm really impressed already and the limited time that I've seen him, and then obviously following up with your reports and others about Dante Lucas. It's, I guess, not surprising to see him already begin to get reps with the first-team offensive line, as he was a guy that we saw sling that sled around and show strength and explosiveness, and obviously has always seemingly had the right mentality. Your thoughts on this offensive line, his role in it, and a guy that I think we're probably all rooting for in Juwan Williams, who I know had some good moments here recently, and some of that was captured on video. But, I mean, I think we're rooting for a guy to come out because he's got the physical tools. He just got domed up a year ago and really played horribly. Talk about that group along with Bavion Johnson and Brady Scott and Ryan Roberts and Mike Arnold and the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at Juwan Williams, I mean, this is kind of, your I would say dream scenario, kind of the one thing you were holding out hope for before you just cast him aside, which a lot of people wanted to do, was that, you take into consideration he had been injured earlier in his career, had shoulder surgery that probably limited his strength, and the fact that, the line was bad. And I think it was a bad mix with Greg Fry and that position group. I just don't think they really connected. I don't think he built them up the way they needed to be built up. And you had guys, I mean, Juwan Williams literally was not blocking people in games last year.
That is correct, Ira.
I mean,
yes,
it's not like he was getting whipped. I mean, he literally wasn't even engaging guys, and it just was a shell of whatever he was supposed to be. And, look, Jimbo Fisher and Rick Trickett signed off on that kid. I know he has ability. And so you hope that, this new coaching staff could kind of light a spark under him, and it seems like it's happened. Now we'll see. And again, one of the videos today was him going up against Adonis Thomas in the Knoll drill, and Juwan Williams looked really good. Of course, Adonis Thomas is one of those guys that we have to see more from as well. So it's not like he was taking on Brian Burns there. So, we'll see how it plays out. But they're excited about the potential from Juwan Williams and Dante Lucas. There's no doubt. I mean, he's a guy that came in from day one and just kind of put everybody on notice that he ain't like everybody else. And he's a guy that not only is extremely confident, but he's physical. Willie today said he's probably the most physical offensive lineman, which says a lot about him, but it also says a lot about the other guys who have been here for 3 years. And so, but he's a guy you want to build around. And I think he's a guy that you're probably going to be willing to accept some mistakes because of all the positive things he's going to do in terms of energy, in terms of competitiveness. You need offensive linemen who are willing to get into a street fight. And I think Dante Lucas is one of those guys. And the fact that he's been up there with the ones a couple days in a row, again, is a really good sign. And now you look at, okay, Mike Arnold, maybe now he's a guy that you bring off the bench as opposed to being asked to be a starter. And, it just kind of gives you some depth.
Yeah, he's been working with the second team, and I think a lot of people probably feel good about that. And then, to find out that Dante Lucas, like you said, is already making an impact, you kind of think, well, way to go, Dante. But damn, man, a freshman walks in here and is already, quote unquote, from the head coach, the most physical offensive lineman they have. That is potentially damning. Real quick, I really enjoyed watching Randy Clements in the limited time that I did. He struck me as a teacher. He struck me as somebody that would instill confidence in his players, is big on technique, and you saw all of that. I thought it was also interesting that now that we've heard from Kendall Briles that he talked about Randy being unbelievable in getting guys to believe in themselves and to teaching technique and to gaining confidence through all of that. Your thoughts on Randy Clements and Kendall Briles?
Yeah, I mean, again, I just think it really, it hammers home as you see them working together. And in the spring, we kind of were limited a little bit in access in the spring. Willie kind of offered less access in the spring than he had before. I think he felt like they had a lot of things to address after last season. And so some of the things we're seeing now, even though Kendall Briles and Randy Clements were here in the spring, some of this stuff is kind of, we're getting more exposure than we've had before. So I agree. I mean, I think Clements is a big hire. As big a hire as Kendall Briles is, I don't know that you can separate the impact that he's going to have from Randy Clements. I think the fact that those two not only are completely on the same page, but also I think Randy might be the perfect guy at the right time. Sometimes position coaches, it might be the right guy at the wrong time. Maybe you need, the blank kicker, or maybe you need the guy with a little bit of a softer touch, or maybe you need a guy who's a great teacher, or maybe you need a guy who's a great motivator. And I think this group right now, they really needed somebody to kind of build them up and, kind of instill confidence in them, teach them in a way that they don't feel threatened. And I think, from that standpoint, I think Randy Clements is that guy. Now, again, the key with some of these guys, especially, Juwan Williams and even to a degree, some of these other guys who played in the past, is when things don't go well in games, how does he get them? How does he keep them on where they are? How does he not let them take those dips? Because again, Jimbo, used to always talk about rat trapping. The guys reverting back to, oh, here we go again. Oh, maybe I'm not the guy I thought I was in preseason. And when that confidence gets shaken a little bit, in the heat of battle, can he keep them at that level? That's going to be the key. I mean, I think it's impressive what he's done so far. But again, like we were talking about earlier with the linebackers, some of this we're going to have to see in games, and whether or not they can maintain it when really they start getting challenged physically.
Well, they'll be doing it all under the radar, I can say that, because nationally nobody, it's been made abundantly clear, nobody expects Florida State to be any good at all, buddy.
That coach's poll the other day, or that the AP or the coach's poll?
It was the coach's poll,
right?
yeah. Yeah, it was the coach's poll. Yeah, that was hurtful, right? I mean, that...
When you're looking up at Duke and everybody else.
I thought, my God, that's a bit of an overreaction, but okay, then again, this has been a program that's been down for 3 years. It's not just last season, so... we shall see. They'll get to do it in the shadows and maybe sneak up on people. I never thought I'd be able to say Florida State might sneak up on Virginia. Good talking.
Up on Boise and Virginia.
Yeah, that's right. Well, surprise. Whoa, what is this? Always a pleasure, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, Jeff. See you, man.
Take care. That's IraChappelleWarChant.com. Yeah, you sneak up on Wake. Sneak up and ambush you.
What is going on in Florida State? They're playing some football. I didn't expect this.
You picture some guy drinking a glass of wine at Virginia, expecting an easy win that night as they are surrounded by the blinding beauty. Charlottesville, they walk into that stadium. They look around, and it's 10-10 in the second quarter. What is this? I thought we were going to win this game by 2 and 3 touchdowns. We better get off our asses. This is a Florida State that is eerily familiar from many moons ago.
He looks at the man to his right, 20 years his senior, who says, I've seen this before. This will not end well.
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
OnQ Financial, Mortgages Simplified, 850-807-0019.
Aaron Allen, NMLS 1215669, Florida LO 61933. Sam Nunnally, NMLS 1422328, Florida LO 54032. OnQ Financial Inc. is an equal housing lender, NMLS 5645, Florida MLD 1131. This is not a commitment to lend. Underwriting terms and conditions apply.
For young people, education can be a guiding light. It provides a path to achieve their dreams. That's why the Florida Lottery proudly supports the Bright Futures Scholarship Program, helping over 800,000 students attend college. And we want to continue creating brighter tomorrows. If you're a current Bright Futures scholar or Florida educator, visit flalottery.com/brightfutures to let us know how we can help you shine even further.
Need help moving? 2 Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit 2men.com or call them at 850-224-2232. 2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's you, Jamie. Don't hang up. You need to hear this. You gotta quit wearing that aviator jacket. Nobody's buying it. I'm sorry you have to hear it from me, but at Progressive, we're all about giving it to people straight. That's why we show our rates alongside our competitors' rates. And when you're helping people find great rates, you don't need some jacket to look cool. Just keep rocking that scarf.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparisons not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
I'm not a big talker. I am a big doer. But sometimes the only way to solve the problem is to get on the horn and figure it out. So the only people I like talking to? Grainger. With knowledgeable products to valves and vacuum pumps. When it comes to solving my problems, Grainger's got my back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get excited, Whataburger fans. Our one-of-a-kind mushroom Swiss burger is back.
And now it's an all-time favorite.
If you love mushrooms, you're going to love this burger.
2 patties, 2 slices of Swiss cheese, 2 layers of mushrooms. These mushrooms are beautiful.
It's a really good balance between hearty and savory. And that au jus sauce on top.
The creamy au jus sauce. It really sets it apart.
Just adds flavor that makes you go, wow. It is just absolutely amazing.
It's not just a mushroom Swiss burger. It's a Whataburger mushroom Swiss burger.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Napa know-how. At Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers, get a $25 prepaid Visa card when you get any Napa automotive battery. It's the best deal for some of the best batteries from some of the best car people around. But we might be a little partial. Anywho, pick up any Napa automotive battery and save $25. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers while supplies last. Offer ends 8/31/19.
It's Golick and Wingo.
Dude, Jerry,
You built the team, and you picked Ezekiel Elliott 4th overall in the draft in 2016 to be exactly what he is and give you the production exactly what you wanted. And your entire offense is built around Ezekiel Elliott being that guy. So you can sit there and say, well, you don't need this guy to win a Super Bowl. History shows us that. Yeah, you're right. But you know what? Your team, the team that you put together as a general manager, your team absolutely has to have Ezekiel Elliott to have any kind of success.
So let me put it to you this way. If you can only afford to pay one of those guys this year, you paying him or you paying Dak?
You're going to say this is a cop-out. They have the money to pay them both. And I get it, they have other issues they got to get done. They also have to do Travis Frederick's deal. I think Byron Jones also is coming up.
So that's the thing. So at the end of all this, it's just posturing.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio, and our thanks to Ira Schoffel, warchant.com, the website there. Read the day-to-day practice observations and reports, get the latest. Not surprisingly, things have begun well. They usually do. But it has, admittedly, fostered a little uptick in my enthusiasm for the start of the season. And really my hope that this team can be one of the surprise teams of college football. I joked at the end of the last segment about the need for Florida State potentially to sneak up and surprise Boise State and Virginia, given the lack of respect in the coaches poll or any of the preseason prognostications. And I understand why Florida State is not well thought of, and I understand why Florida State is ranked somewhere in the neighborhood of the 30s and 40s by most publications. I get it. That was a you-know-what show last year, and if the lasting image you took into the offseason was that of Florida State getting routed at home by their arch rival en route to a losing campaign, you might not project with any realm of, say, gusto their future. But I also think that that's a bit of a mistake. I think that some of that has to do with this perception that Florida State is lacking talent. It also tends to ignore Willie's track record of success. And so that's the other thing, is that it's if you're falling back on the idea that things can get turned around, then you're doing so based on each instance in which that's exactly what happened with Willie Taggart at his previous stops.
Yeah, the thing for me about offense versus defense and the concern level, it comes up again a little bit. You could hear it in Ira's responses. The offense has more answers, at least in terms of the direction that
they're
they want to
being addressed, yes.
Right. Defense is like, well, we're not so sure what we're going to get out of the defensive end position or the edge rusher in the 3-4. And linebacker, not so sure who our linebackers are going to be. Hampson was going to be a linebacker. He may be better off at safety. Levante's probably going to play back there too, and Woodby is probably going to be up in the box as a linebacker. We'll see. There's just a lot of those we'll see things on defense, and that's where once they get into pads and some of these answers become more crystallized, I think I'll feel better about it. But for now, just I think we're going to be okay at corner. I know that front three defensive lineman's really good. I want to see what the next wave looks like, who our second team players are in the line. There seems to be more unknowns with the defense. There seems to be bigger unknowns with the offense, specifically the O-line.
Well, and I think it's a big year, obviously, for the defense, because if one thing's for sure, we all know that the fans turned and certainly did not believe in what Willie was doing last year, and understandably so. But then, as one should do if you'd like to keep your job, he made changes. Largely, those changes had to do with what was going on the offensive side of the ball. So you kind of, as you say, you set that over there, and we'll wait and see what happens. But defensively, while they were not put in a position to succeed, especially by their offense and field position nightmares time and again, special teams nightmares time and again, they also didn't play well. They also didn't respond real well to Harlan Barnett's coaching. So,
well, and think about the technique of the defensive backs. That can't all be on injury luck, right?
So I think that became the lesser of the concerns, but it was a concern nonetheless. So you do enter this season going, okay, Harlan, you too are under 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you status.
I think it's a personal thing in terms of my concern level for it because it's not fair to him. That, like he said yesterday when he was made available, well, we haven't put pads on yet, so I don't really know. Fair. Once they do, though, this time next week or, maybe 10 days from now, would like to know where they stand, what he thinks. Just, I felt like in the offseason after spring ball, we had more linebacker depth and somehow it got thinner. If you have a guy who started last year in particular that's still with the ones, and a guy like Jaleel McRae, who I think he played that first day with the freshman group. All right. I thought Jaleel would be like Dante Lucas right now. You'd see him running with the ones. You'd just say, okay, this is what I firmly expected.
Well, he fits the mold of what a linebacker should look like here at Florida State. And so you immediately project the hopefulness that you're describing on him because he's not 210 pounds. He's a guy that looks like he could play in the inside and certainly had a kind of a downhill mentality.
Well, if it's a
3-4,
right, yeah, then he can get into that rotation a little sooner. If it was 4-3 and he has to call out all the checks, then that might be a little different.
I would say this: we got to remind ourselves. Here's where you do temper the enthusiasm and/or the criticism or concerns, and that is they haven't donned pads. We begin to separate. The boys, the men from the boys when we get the pads on and we start, it's for keeps. You start getting to feel then who's going to be able to step in there and play right now physically, especially amongst the young players.
One thing I saw both on the boards and social media as people were responding to the feeds, and really this is an awesome time of year because we've been needing it. So my feed this morning is full of videos from Florida State practice and then Tampa Bay Bucks practice.
Sure.
That's all it is. It's just one video after the next. I'm like, whoa. Look at all this content. This is wonderful. And the outlets do a great job, like War Chant, JoeBucksFan.com, among others. But I saw fans reacting to Dante Lucas news, right? And they were all very happy about the Lucas news, but a lot of them said, both on the boards and on social, that, listen, if this kid makes mistakes, that's fine. I'd rather have him out there going 100 miles an hour,
being
playing
physical
with
an attitude, yes.
Right. And I think this is one of those odd years at Florida State, especially we can understand why, given the context of the last 2 seasons. But I think if we make some mistakes, but they're young kids and they're playing hard and physical, I think we're more forgiving now than we'll ever be as a fan base. Because we know that we'd rather take chances on some young players that they look more the part. And if they have to make some mistakes along the way, the growing pains are acceptable as long as we get to the 8 or 9 win mark.
Yeah, you want a reason to root for this team beyond the fact that you cheer for the Garnet and Gold. You want to invest in this group, and if they play hard, even if they're making mistakes, that typically is the number one way in which you elicit that response, and certainly you begin to care for kids because they're flawed, but they're really working hard to make the changes that are going to make you proud in a couple of years. We watched that with the basketball team. We've seen it time and again. Those teams that were lacking –
well, they were bad on defense before this latest run, right?
Yeah, and by way of comparison to what they were up against in the conference, obviously, where the depth of talent and blue chippers and All-Americans at North Carolina and Duke, amongst others, Virginia, you always felt like you were up against it. So being scrappy and working hard and leaving it all on the floor endeared them to that fan base, to this fan base, until where they eventually got good enough to actually do something about it. We feel like we're in the beginning of that same sort of climb here.
Well, it's just, typically those two forms are all or nothing. And so there's love or hate, right? Not indifference, like love or hate. And I'm just proud, at least at this stage in preseason camp, that people are at least willing to say to themselves, listen, this isn't a team that's going to go 12-0. So if we make a couple mistakes, it's not the end of the world because we're building towards something. There were plenty of years this decade where we felt like if one guy lets us down, that's the end of the world because the margin between going to the BCS or the college football playoff is this thin, and it comes down to this position, center or linebacker or whatever it was. But if people are at least setting the expectations preseason-wise that are dialed into the program right now and saying, oh, if Dante makes a mistake here or there, that's fine because he's going to be a beast someday. I like that. That means we're in a healthy place mentally. We're not going crazy already in the first week of August.
I think, and I've been hesitant, but I think if they're healthy and they continue to climb as they are now, as we see them build, on the, again, we're talking about Briles and Clements and the things that Dugans and all those guys bring to the table. I actually think Florida State is in a real good position. Said it before camp ever started. I'll feel this way. I think, obviously, as long as nothing disastrous, knock on wood, happens in camp, they're in a position to probably surprise, because this is a group that will gain confidence pretty quickly thanks to the new coaches and the teaching. The athletic ability is there at the skill positions. I think they are going to play hard. I think they are in unison. I do think the locker room is healthier, to your point. They'll play hard. They'll play fast. They may not be good enough in certain cases, but that's fine. We'll live with that as we continue to build the roster. The only way that happens is to get the most out of what you have, play a brand of football that's fun, that attracts others, and, win 8-9 games and get on with the getting.
Right. This is one of those years where you can win 8 or 9 games and everybody can kind of have fun along the way. It's not like that often at Florida State. You got to win.
It's so rare you're an underdog. It's so rare that you're consistently an underdog and that you're coming off a season that kind of strips you of lofty expectations. So you got to go into every game knowing there's a potential you could lose it. There's there's only 3 games on this schedule, I'd say, where that's simply not true. Every other one on this schedule, you could lose. You could easily lose. You could lose to Boise. You could lose to every team in the ACC, not named Louisville, I would think. So most of the time when you go to the stadium, home or away, it's wrought with danger.
It's on the line.
It's all on the line.
There is no safety net under these trapeze artists.
No, but it's also fun because you're potentially going to spring an upset. It's so, in the times that I've been going to Florida State football games, we're the hunted. We are always the hunted. It is so rare to play that role. I don't like playing that role. I want to get back to being the hunted. I'd prefer to be a major favorite in these games and have the other fans holding on to hope, hoping against hope in some cases, and being delirious with joy when there's even a sign that early in the second half they're in the game. Yeah, I'd like to get back to that kind of domination, but until that time, the shoe fits, wear it, baby. We may be upset darlings in 2019, buddy.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Champs attempt to end an 8-game losing streak, their longest slide since 2015. Starting pitching's been one of Boston's biggest problems during the skid, notes ESPN MLB analyst Alex Rodriguez.
Take the last 8 starts for their starters, 37 innings pitched, over a 10 ERA. Those are not championship numbers. They have to fix it and fix it fast. Luckily for them, they have the Royals coming in. They have Rick Porcello, who won the Cy Young 3 years ago. Time for Porcello and other starters to get going.
The Red Sox have won their last 8 games against the Royals. Yankees infielder Gio Urshela, who fouled balls off both legs in the same at-bat last night, said he expects to play tonight against the Orioles. Yankees infielder Gleyber Torres underwent tests on what skipper Aaron Boone called a core issue, the team awaiting those results. The Mets put second baseman Robinson Cano on the injured list with a left hamstring strain. It is his 3rd stint on the IL in less than 3 months. NBA ESPN's reporting Draymond Green's new 4-year, $100 million extension with the Warriors includes a 15% trade kicker. If he were to get dealt next summer, the kicker would equate to an extra $11 million. Green's just the 22nd player in the league and 3rd on Golden State to have that kind of escalator in his deal.
Tallahassee, it's Chuck Oliver, the king of college football, and you can join me every weekday at 1 p.m. right here on Tallahassee Sports Monster. We talk nothing but college football every day from Tallahassee to Tuscaloosa, Athens to Auburn, and everywhere in between. That's the Chuck Oliver Show, weekdays at 1 p.m. on our new home in Tallahassee, 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Monster.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet, the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home, and the most Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Only from Xfinity. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today to experience all Xfinity has to offer.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
I'm not a big talker. I am a big doer. But sometimes the only way to solve the problem is to get on the horn and figure it out. So the only people I like talking to? Grainger. With knowledgeable product experts, ready with the answers to my toughest questions, calling Grainger is the one conversation I don't mind having. From machining and motor parts to valves and vacuum pumps. When it comes to solving my problems, Grainger's got my back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Rich Eisen here for Honda. Summer is finally back in full swing, and that means the Honda Summer Spectacular event is too. A great deal on an Accord, Civic Sedan, or Civic Hatchback, all of which come loaded with the smartest tech, like standard Honda sensing, a suite of safety and driver assistive features that can alert you to things you might miss on the road. But like I said, it's during this time only that these deals are available. So hurry right now into your local Honda dealer soon.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Introducing Hardee's Charbroiled Double Deals for $2.49 each. Your choice of the double cheeseburger, the new bacon cheddar double, or backed by popular demand, the Hardee's Classic. They're double, the beef, triple, the options. You probably noticed the echo. It happens when we double, beef, and triple the options with our Charbroiled Double deals for $2.49 each. It's kind of epic. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Double the meat is compared to the small cheeseburger. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Price may vary. Tax not included.
This is Golic and Wingo.
You see a lot of young running quarterbacks. You don't see a lot of old ones. Right. That's just the way this thing goes. Right. And Cam has been able to get away from it because he's a freak of nature. I mean, he's 6'5", 260 pounds.
Yeah, he is.
And he runs a 4.7. I mean, he's Ben Roethlisberger's size with running back speed. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's something that you don't see a lot of. And this is the age-old dilemma, right, for athletes who try and change the way they do things. Because of his athletic abilities, these are the things that have helped make him great. And now, as you get a little older, and he's lost a little zip on his fastball, and he's in his 30s now. Suddenly, the things that made you exceptional, you're being told to rein them in.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Well, that series, by the way, between our two teams got off to a good start for my team, but it ended as most of them do, in favor of your team.
Yeah.
You guessed properly the first game.
That we were going to get, slapped around a little bit.
We pounded your boy.
That's correct.
But then you subsequently pounded us for the next two.
Well, yesterday specifically. Saturday was a bit of a dogfight.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, bullpens really did what they do, and Stroman wasn't that great, but he was on like 10 days rest. And then we're in a doubleheader today. If we sweep this doubleheader today, then they've got me back in.
I was going to say, when are you going to start believing, buddy?
Well, if they
when does it happen?
If they sweep it today, that puts them over 500, which is insane. And it would put them, 2.5 games out of the wild card. What?
Well, when you're 2.5 games out of the wild card this late in the go, you might as well be all in, buddy. Welcome back to watching baseball again.
I thought I was free.
Yeah. Oh, I am free. Don't worry. I've been released. That taste of freedom sees me on long walks, listening to podcasts, talking to my children, reading books, quietly awaiting football season because baseball's not in the picture.
Yeah, I know. Well, you got some preseason on Thursday. We got the Bucks on right here on Thursday night.
You're damn right. Right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, your home for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Scuttlebucks.
That's right.
Triumphant return, you and I, with the Scuttlebucks.
That starts in 2 weeks, I think. That's our contract begins, I think, for week 3 of the preseason.
All right. By then, we will have been able to take a good long look at what's gone on in camp in a couple of games, and we'll say, all right, 6 wins, 8 wins, who knows? Bucks, one of 5 teams projected based on advanced metrics to probably, well, at least according to a couple of different articles I read, along with Carolina, unfortunately in the same division, to above and beyond the projected number of wins from the Vegas
safe
outlets.
over bet, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll take a look at Cam's arm. That'll be the answer for the Carolina Panthers. Very simple. By week 2, week 3, is his arm live, or was it just a 1-week adrenaline spike?
I think the answer for them is whether or not he's going to continue to be the physical presence that he is on 3rd and short. There is no greater answer in football for 3rd and short than Cam Newton, whom you cannot tackle for a loss if he sees you coming and or has had a steam towards the line of scrimmage. Does he continue to play that way, or based on shoulder injuries now, putting his career in peril and certainly affecting the aforementioned arm strength, do they stop using him as the battering ram on 3rd and 4th and short? That's an automatic first down against everybody, and it kept a lot of drives alive, and it was infinitely frustrating to know that if it was 3rd and 1, you weren't getting a stop. He was getting that first down. But I don't know if they'll ask him to play that way, or if, moreover, he'll choose to play that way.
Yeah, but I think it's such a mess. I mean, if you're a Panthers fan, you're on edge the rest of his career, really, because he's got a different arm motion, right? And so is he going to be too mechanical, or is he still going to feel his way through the plays? Especially, I mean, look at the Jameis disparity. There was a good article down in Tampa last week about the difference between him outside the pocket and inside the pocket. We already know about the good part of it, because outside the pocket, he's the best quarterback rolling right in the game.
In the league. That's right. Statistically accurate, yes.
So how is it possible that if you're that good when you break the pocket, if you have time and you have a clean area between the tackles, that the results are so mediocre? Why? And the theory being, and Bruce Arians has said this, that it's because he tries to be a little bit too mechanical. His footwork isn't where it needs to be, and it looks like he's thinking his way through those throws. Well, for Cam Newton, much the same. If he's not creating the plays in space, and he's got to drop back 7 steps and then fire one down the sidelines, is he going to be thinking about his throwing motion? If I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, that's the question I'm asking myself.
One thing he can get away with, and listen, I know this audience probably doesn't want us to focus too long on the Carolina Panthers, but he can lose some arm strength. Tom, he had one of the better arms in the league, so if that goes away a little bit, he'll be all right. It's that, he's going to have to anticipate a little bit more.
Has he been known for that, though? I mean, there was the 1 year. He has the 1 year where he was the best player in the sport.
One thing I have felt like, and I felt like watching last year that he was this way, I thought we were watching a rather precipitous crash. I thought we were about to see a guy who played a certain way for 10 years now and was an amazing specimen. I mean, a physical freak. We've never seen a quarterback who looks and plays like that. They haven't existed. We've had mobile quarterbacks. Obviously, Michael Vick was the most mobile quarterback I've ever seen. And nobody did the stuff that Michael Vick did from the quarterback position in the history of the league. Now, there was some upside to that, and there was some real downside to that. And obviously, he had some weaknesses that involved consistently and accurately throwing the football. It wasn't arm strength. It was more about accuracy. And later on, when people began to bottle him up and force him to throw the football to beat you, he became ineffective. And so thus, his place in football lore is just that he was unique and good sometimes, even outstanding at times, but also wildly inconsistent. Cam was a physical freak that was different from Vic, and that nobody has ever been built like that and could run like that and bowl over linebackers. I mean, Tim Tebow did it in college, but nobody had ever done it in the NFL. And he also had a rocket for an arm, and so obviously there were a lot of things about him that were unique. But we all know what happens. It's really a testament to just how physically gifted he was that he's lasted this long playing that way. Most people get hit like Cam Newton are either out of the league or seriously diminished in their running capacity after 4 or 5 years. He did it for a decade.
Right, and he was breaking NFL rushing records for quarterbacks, Steve Young's records, among others, 5 years into his career.
It was dumb.
That's how prolific he was at it.
Yeah. Now, if he can't do that and he's not going to play that way, then he's an average to subpar quarterback. He's not very good.
Well, and that's where the interesting thing is. The South has been the home, the NFC South, to so many good quarterback years and seasons. I mean, I don't know that you would label, and I'm not saying this to be mean or myself usually, I don't know that you would label Matt Ryan like a generational quarterback.
No,
but he's had a couple of
year,
seasons where you go, well, I mean.
One in particular,
but where he's dangerous week in, week out for several seasons, and you go, well, this guy could up and beat you by throwing for 450 yards to these, Roddy Whites, Julio Jones, among others.
Certainly helped.
Brees is a Hall of Famer, but what about his arm this year? When it goes quick.
His arm was absolutely a wet noodle at the end of last year, and I don't know if that was injury, a temporary injury that rest would heal. Seems to be the case. That's what they're hoping. Or is this the serious drop-off that every quarterback not named Tom Brady suffers when you get to be in your late 30s, early 40s?
It even finally happened to Peyton Manning. When he first gets out to Denver, he lights the world on fire, sets records, and you're like, boy, he's better than he's ever been. And then it just was gone, and the sheriff had to use guts and guile to get through the playoffs.
Guile, baby. That was guts and guile. My goodness gracious. We had some fun at his expense, but he did willed his way along with an elite defense to a Super Bowl championship in Denver.
It's an interesting division for that reason, the NFC South. It's not just about that we're the home of the Bucs and we're two Bucs fans, but this could go any number of ways.
Bill Barnwell is the one who wrote the article in which he's picking statistically why he uses a statistical measure, for picking the 5 NFL teams most likely to improve above and beyond their win projections in 2019. He starts with San Francisco, who a year ago went 4-12. Their Pythagorean suggested they should have won close to 6 games. Their records in games decided by 7 points or fewer was 3-5, and their schedule is projected. Awfully tough to do in the NFL because it changes so quickly, but FPI projects their schedule as the 15th easiest. So you put those factors in along with a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo, and they expect to go and win more than
right. So Pythagorean says they're a below-average team. They get a quarterback who is thought to be upper half, and their schedule is pretty much
easy
in the middle. Yeah.
And if they win a few that they lost last year, decided by less than 7 points, and a lot of that is luck. Some of that's turnover luck. Some of that's what have you. Just your field goal kicker, like in Tampa, misses every meaningful kick.
Knock on wood, but you've been reading those reports.
I don't want to talk about it, Tom, and I won't. Moving that it projects to win more than.
Against the Browns.
That's right. The problem we have is it's the 7th toughest projected schedule in the National Football League.
Because we travel all over hell's half acres.
Yeah.
And to England.
By the way, you want to get depressed? If you look at the Bucs and you say, I don't know. I don't think that the span of the last, say, 8 years in which the Bucs are 42-86 projects all that well. The only teams the Bucs have been better than in the last 8 years, the Browns, obviously, the entire league has been better than the Browns. Can you name the other? Who's the only other team, Tampa Bay's combined record of the last 8 seasons? Jacksonville.
The Butts. All right.
You got it. The Butts. That's right. So we go through this. 2018, at least by point differential, wasn't all that much different from 2017. The 2017 Bucs went 5-11 while getting outscored by 47 points. Usually projects to around 6.8 wins. They go through that and they look at the addition of Bruce Arians. Tampa's new coach spent 12 games as the interim coach in Indianapolis while Chuck Pagano was being treated for leukemia before leading the Cardinals from 2013 through 2017. Over that 5-year span, Bruce Arians was an impressive 58-33-1. What's even more notable for the purposes of projecting the Bucs to be a better team, in close games in particular, is that he went 28-12-1 in games decided by 7 points or fewer, winning more than 68% of the time in that situation. Typically, coaches are expected to go 50-50.
So was he incredibly lucky, or does he have some secret sauce?
Okay, well, that is a 41-game sample set.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He lost it to the end zone.
Special is a must-have every Monday.
It lets you defer a portion of your bill until October.
Wow, I had no idea. Where can I find out more?
Simple. Visit talgov.com/YOU.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities connects you to more than electricity. With a variety of options to choose from, you can find products and services that help you save energy, water, and money. More options, more products, more savings. Visit talgov.com/YOU or call 891-4968 to learn more.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Napa know-how. At Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers, get a $25 prepaid Visa card when you get any Napa Automotive battery. It's the best deal for some of the best batteries from some of the best car people around. But we might be a little partial. Anywho, pick up any Napa Automotive battery and save $25. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers while supplies last. Offer ends 8/31/19.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, one day after finalizing a new contract that increases his pay by $8 million this season, Patriots quarterback Tom Brady acknowledging how the deal doesn't tie him to the franchise beyond the 2019 season. Technically, it is a 2-year extension through the 2021 season, but 2020 and 2021 are void years, so Brady and the team will have to revisit negotiations before the end of the 2019 league year to extend the contract, but it is expected that they will do just that. The Red Sox turn to Rick Porcello tonight against the Royals as the defending World Series champs attempt to end an 8-game losing streak, their longest slide since 2015. Starting pitching's been one of Boston's biggest problems during the skid, notes ESPN MLB analyst Alex Rodriguez.
Take the last 8 starts for their starters, 37 innings pitched, over a 10 ERA. Those are not championship numbers. They have to fix it and fix it fast. Luckily for them, they have the Royals coming in. They have Rick Porcello, who won the Cy Young 3 years ago. Time for Porcello and other starters to get going.
The Red Sox have won their last 8 games against the Royals. Yankees infielder Gio Urshela, who fouled balls off both legs in the same at-bat last night, said he expects to play tonight against the Orioles. Yankees infielder Gleyber Torres underwent tests on what skipper Aaron Boone called a core issue, the team awaiting those results. The Mets put second baseman Robinson Cano on the injured list with a left hamstring strain. It is his 3rd stint on the IL in less than 3 months. NBA ESPN's reporting Draymond Green's new 4-year, $100 million extension with the Warriors includes a 15% trade kicker. If he were to get dealt next summer, the kicker would equate to an extra $11 million. Green's just the 22nd player in the league and 3rd on Golden State to have that kind of escalator in his deal.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning into it. Good Monday, everybody. Appreciate you joining us. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We are online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. But if you do, we got you covered. All 3 hours to be posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Rate, review, comment there on iTunes, if you will. It helps others find the program. Email us if you want, jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. Hello, YouTubers, and hello, Periscopers. Good day to be with you. Always a good day to be with you. Man, I began the show by talking about renewed hope and energy that is something that, in a weird way, I'm sort of fighting off. I'm kind of, you're getting a little carried away here, Cameron. You're starting to drink it. You're starting to believe it.
Keep clicking the pen.
I need to keep clicking the pen, but I also don't think it's such a bad thing to believe, based on evidence, that things could be a lot better on offense this year. Listen, they were terrible last year, so it's not a huge leap. If they're competent and they score 30 points a game or 28 points a game, to say that's a lot better from the 21 a game we scored a year ago.
Things are looking up.
I think that's true. I think they will beat the teams they're supposed to beat. I think they'll look much more competent and I think efficient with what they're trying to run. May not always be good enough, may not always execute. They got to do all those things in order to win games, but there's certainly a vision, and it was good to hear from Kendall Briles, and we'll play that audio for you in the second segment of this hour. Played it in the first hour, but replay that here as a catalyst for a larger discussion. I like Kendall Briles. I like what I hear from him so far. I like the reports behind the scenes of how buttoned up and organized and focused and smart and hardworking he and Randy Clements and certainly Ron Dugans, all those guys, all the coaching changes that were absolutely necessary and thus made have gotten rave reviews. I'm not surprised with Ron Dugans. We know what kind of player he was, hard worker he was, and what kind of teacher and mentor he is for his student athletes. It's not surprising that already there's evidence to back that up. But we didn't know anything about Kendall Briles and Randy Clements, save for their success rate, the number of stops they've made together and the points per game, et cetera. But we didn't know how they operated. So I was anxious to hear how that worked. What was that relationship like, beyond the fact that it was a symbiotic one that has been in place now for many years, in which certainly they speak the same language. You don't have to worry that one wants one thing and the other isn't sure what that is and how to make that work and teach it and all that. That's not something, that's a worry of the past. That's a worry that plagued the team a year ago. It's not something they have to concern themselves with this year. Defensively, Tom came out the box worrying about the defense, and I get it because there's a lot up in the air. You had some change there too, including with what we think we're going to be doing schematically. It looks like more and more there's evidence to suggest they're just going to be all in on this 3-4 to better utilize the personnel they have, or, if you will, what they don't have, which is bona fides at rush-in. And now Kando hurt with a hamstring pull. You know, it's interesting, Tom. Sometimes kids get here, and we've seen careers play out this way. You hate to give up on kids, especially if they're not bad kids and they're working hard, but they're just unlucky. I don't want to imply that somebody, or infer that somebody is soft because they're hurt. You can't help that. People get hurt, but it nonetheless affects your expectation of what's possible. We've seen it with Keith Gavin, who has been hurt off and on, but also has suffered from the drops. You kind of now looked at his career, which was once so hopeful, and thought, well, this is his last stand. Maybe this offense does it for him, but it's a shame we've really not gotten out of him what we thought we would when he said yes to Florida State. And for Kaindoh right now, doing the things necessary to get your body right to compete at this level, but the bottom line is he's never healthy, and now he's hurt again. And so a guy you were relying on, you can't really rely on. And so between that and the concern at linebacker, I think there is reason for us to be nervous about the defense. I do like the secondary, though, and I want to reiterate that. I think they're going to play a lot better on the back end. I do like the move to the 3-4. I think it does suit your personnel. They ought to be better in year 2 of Harlan Barnett. We'll see. But will they be dominant? No. Don't necessarily need them to be dominant when we think about the kind of uptick in production you're going to get offensively. Just need them to be decent. Let's be something better against the run and a little bit more consistent on that back end on those one-on-one balls. Can we not get called for pass interference every time one of those goes up?
Yeah, again, we're in week 1 of camp, and pads only come on for the first time tomorrow.
Tomorrow, baby, and it's on, though. When that happens, it is on.
A lot of roles will be carved out at that point. It's just that, in the spring and then the offseason, you hear that perhaps some players are going to fit into a certain role, and then you get out to the practice fields and they're in different places. Like Levante Taylor, perhaps in the slot at corner, but now he's playing over the top.
I like that move. I'm okay with that.
I got to see it. I just that's one where it's funny. Like I get it. The offense is the bigger concern, but I feel like there's a handle on that. Defense, there's just a lot of things popping up all over the place. In Charlotte was, the 3-4. We saw some things we like. We saw some things we don't like. They still won't say that the 3-4 is the base. They're saying they're multiple. Okay. And then the rush end situation is kind of up in the air with Kaindoh, and it's a hamstring. It's not like it's a thumb injury, right? And they're letting that heal, and he'll get back to contact next week. It's a hamstring. So those are just indefinite in terms of how long it takes for you to get back from those. Stanford Samuels is going back to corner. I think I like that move, but why did we ever make him play safety in the first place? There's a lot of stuff there that needs to be settled, hopefully with the pads coming on in the next couple weeks of camp.
I like him going back to corner, by the way.
I do too, but it's just like, are we going to pick and define roles here? Or are we just going to cross-train the hell out of everybody and then see what sticks come football season? And we're in the beginning of camp, so we got time, but there's concern.
I like you're still Team Clicky Pin, and you should be. You should be Team 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you.
I got that clipboard, baby.
We should all be. I'm not saying that my renewed sense of optimism and the uptick in positive energy that I feel for this team and the season is, out of control. I'm not trying to describe a scenario where I think we win 11 or 12 games and we shock the nation and compete for a national title. I'm just thinking that things have gotten off to a good start. They're moving along swimmingly. I like what I hear from my new offensive coordinator. I like what I saw when I was out at practice. I like Randy Clements and his teaching style, and it feels very much like that, as opposed to hard-nosed, beat you up, verbally coaching. It's a teaching style. I think that's what this group needs. It feels to me like they're responding to him. I like that Dante Lucas is a kid that it is sad that a true freshman comes in and it's already the most physical offensive lineman, as described by Willie Taggart, that this group has to offer. But we needed that. So you're going to give me that. You're going to get mistakes made by freshmen, but he's going to make them at full speed, and he's going to do it with an edge to him. He is strong and talented for his age. So given what we were up front last year, he's got to be a plus. I think that has an impact. Again, there's no reason not to assume they're going to be a better-looking unit this year. That doesn't mean they're going to be good. It just means they're going to be better.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm describing when I describe optimism.
Well, I'm hoping the season kind of serves like 2010 did for the rise to 29 straight. And, that year Jimbo's first as head coach was really important in laying the foundation for what we saw a couple years later. But I just feel like that group, you kind of knew who the defensive line was, right? You kind of knew the linebackers are going to be corners and safeties. And you're like, all right, let's just see how good this team can be. And last year when we were out of whack in so many different places for so many different reasons. Health had a lot to do with it in the defensive backfield. But when you're trying to master a lot of things and you haven't mastered one yet, that's where I get a little bit, nervous as a fan, because I don't know who's playing where, first of all. I know the best 11 are going to get in the field, and we're going to be
with the smartest tech, like standard Honda sensing, a suite of safety and driver assistive features that can alert you to things you might miss on the road. But like I said, it's during this time only that these deals are available. So hurry right now into your local Honda dealer soon.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
Powerball is throwing the ultimate party, and one lucky winner is going to win $1 million. Introducing Powerball's New Year's Rockin' Eve VIP experience. You and a guest could take the trip of a lifetime to New York City, packed with exclusive access to the biggest events in town. Plus, you'll receive an entry for a chance to become the first Powerball millionaire of 2020. Announced live on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. Play Powerball today. Learn more and enter to win at FLAlottery.com/NYRE. The Florida Lottery.
Of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Napa know-how.
At Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers, get a $25 prepaid Visa card when you get any Napa automotive battery. It's the best deal for some of the best batteries from some of the best car people around. But we might be a little partial. Anywho, pick up any Napa automotive battery and save $25. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers while supplies last. Offer ends 8/31/19.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all-day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in Tally.
All right, so we've been waiting to hear from Kendall Briles, and we finally did. The audio is courtesy of warchant.com, but we thought we would cultivate some of this for you, and so you could hear from the new OC and his thoughts on where this team is, where they're going, things he's excited about, things that they got to work on, all that good stuff. But there's some nuggets here, and I certainly like sort of a no-nonsense approach. Doesn't give your standard pat answer. He's willing to think about it a little bit here. But again, courtesy of our friends at warchant.com, here's the audio from Kendall Briles.
Obviously, the expectations being at Florida State University, wanting to get this back where it needs to be. So we're all gas, no brakes. So we're full throttle right now. Excited about the guys. They're eager, and everybody's working really hard to get where we need to be.
What's your thoughts on where the offense stands after 2 days of fall practice?
It's a work in progress. We're trying to get a lot of reps. This will be the first day we've got everybody back together, so that'll be good. The guys were towards the end of practice last couple of days been pretty worn out, a lot of cramping, and that's normal. It's getting back into football shape, especially with the tempo offense. So, but I think mentally, the carryover from the spring through the summer back into fall camp, I think the guys are mentally sharp. So now we're going to start putting a little bit on them. It's going to make it a little bit tough on them, but that's going to pay off later. We'll get a lot of reps at a lot of things throughout fall camp.
From a pace standpoint, where are you at with regards to where you want to be?
We're not where we want to be right now. And we got a lot of guys getting a lot of different reps. We got 3 different quarterbacks. They're all getting reps. So once we really hone in on knowing exactly what we're going to be doing on a daily basis, like we're installing a bunch of stuff right now, so you got a little bit of thinking. That's natural. And but the guys, from a tempo standpoint, they're coachable. I've really been impressed with the offensive line. They're not in shape where they can. Their mind is telling them to do it, but their bodies won't let them right now. But you can see it on tape. They're trying to change gears, get lined up, all that good stuff. So we'll keep coaching it, keep working it, keep getting better at it.
What are you looking for from your quarterbacks in your offense?
Production. Bottom line.
What's your process when you get a new job? You go and watch film of the previous season to see who's on the roster, who you're going to work with?
Not when I get the job, but previous to, Coach Taggart and I going back and forth about the process of him, wanting to offer me the job, all that stuff. So, of course, you look at recruiting, what they've done, look at the guys on roster, who's going to be back. Quarterback situation, obviously, is a huge deal. Looking at the schedule, who's on the schedule, what it looks like. So all those deep standpoint, just our scholarship numbers in general. But we got really, really good ones. And I think from an entire skill, if you put all the skill together, it may be one of the best skilled guys that I've ever been around. We talk about running backs, tight ends, receivers all together. We got really, really good skills, so it's on us to put them in good positions to make plays.
How important was it to have Coach Clements come here to coach the offensive line, given your guys' familiarity with each other in the same scheme?
Extremely important. Extremely important. And it was important to Coach Taggart as well. And that was one of the deals going through the process is, hey, we both were agreeing on if we're going to do this thing, then we want to make sure that we get Coach Clements here because our offense is so tied into, everybody calls them RPOs, but, being able to run and throw off of things. So being able to have that and do what we do on offense, and a guy who understands it, a guy who understands the adjustments, what needs to be done, what needs to the personnel, what we need from the offensive line standpoint. So all that tied in with the run game, with the running backs and tight ends is huge.
With the offensive line, what was one of the top priorities focused on when you guys got here?
Mental toughness, physical toughness. I think there's some talent there. It's with anything. If you don't have a lot of success, then you kind of lack in confidence at times. And so and Coach Clements is unbelievable about really driving success into those guys and making them believe in themselves. And he's done it for a long, long time. And he's got those guys believing. And he's not going to degrade them, talk down to them, and he's going to make sure that those guys are playing at a high level and really believing in themselves. And we got some talent, and we'll get there.
When the offense gets into a rhythm, what is an ideal tempo for you?
I don't have you see on ESPN guys put numbers to how quick they're snapping the ball, all of that. I never look at any of that. We never, chart any of that, stat any of that. To me, you can see that on tape. Are the guys getting the ball inside? Are the guys getting the signal? All of that's on film. So we can coach all of that on film. I don't try to look at a clock and compare ourselves to anybody else. We know how it should be, and we got to get our guys to execute at that level.
What's it been like working with James Blackman, and just what do you want him to work on or work with him on in the future?
James is an awesome kid. I mean, y'all know him. Been here for a while. Unbelievable kid. He's the thing that I love about James is he's the same every single day, and that's what you have to be especially playing the quarterback position, but just being consistent on a daily basis. And he comes out here, the team loves him, off season, off the field, everything he does, he's the same way. And so James just got to continue to progress in the offense, and really got to think like I think. And once a quarterback gets on that level where they're thinking like I think, they know exactly where the ball should go each and every time, and they're not having to process as much, they're more reacting. Calling it from the box, then you got to tell somebody, and that person has to.
What the offense is doing now to what they were doing a year ago? Are they having to make a lot of adjustments, or?
or receiver or running back in this offense, it is a lot of fun because you can see the potential for not just success, but an explosiveness and statistical or otherwise barrage that you're capable of putting on worn-out defenses. It can't be a lot of fun, as he alluded to, for the offensive linemen. You're trying to run that many plays. Those are big men that got to get up, get moving, get back to the line of scrimmage, and ready to fire. And you can see that. They're not in as good a shape as they need to be. That's a big part of what this camp is. He alluded to that at the end of spring, that, look, the hard part will be if we want to run fast, and we do, we got to be able to do that ourselves. We got to be – it's not just about knowing the plays and my quarterback being on the same page as I am, but we have to physically be able to do that, which means being in great shape.
I think it's important to note that that's football shape. That's what they have to be talking about because this group, the offensive line specifically, was lauded for their offseason workout and commitment to being in as good a shape as they could be. Marvin Wilson talked about it. Coach Taggart talked about it. Other players mentioned the fact that they were the ones that were out running stadiums and all that kind of stuff. So I think when he's saying that, he's talking about, listen, that's all well and good that you're doing stadium steps, but you got to be ready in a football shape after doing 30 minutes of drills to come out here and be in the place you need to be.
Those poor fatties, man. You watch those guys in practice and you realize, I mean, you have to be a massive human being to play big-time college football in a Power 5 conference. You gotta, I mean, you have to be 320, 330 pounds to be able to hold your own at this level. Not across the line, but pretty close to it. It's very rare that you can see an individual weigh that much without having extra weight in their midsection. You got to be able to have the frame to handle it, but you're going to be heavier than you would be in your everyday walking around life. That's just part of it. That's why so many of these guys, you see them 2 years removed from football, it's like they're a different-looking human being because they drop 50 pounds, 60 pounds just like that because they no longer have to carry it. But that makes it very difficult if you're running an offense like this to be able to run up and down the field.
I think one of the cool things about that interview is you get an insight into his brain as the play caller on game day when Chris Nee asked him about
being on the field,
being on the sideline. He doesn't want the middleman. When he's talking about everything he's looking for, which is what hash, down and distance,
where the slot receivers are,
all that stuff. Yeah, that's that gives you an idea of how quickly he's processing things in between plays.
If you want further insight into that, I cited it last week, or maybe it was the week before, not sure which. You can find several articles, but you go back to last year with the numbers produced at Houston. I think it was week 8 or 9. Sports Illustrated wrote a lengthy article on their successes, and they were leading the country in offense at that time. And you see him calling plays. There's video in that article that they utilized on the website, him calling plays in a rhythm on the sideline with hand signals, no playbook in hand, and how he sees the game when they're rolling. It's a thing of beauty. The problem is when they're not, it looks like the Army game. It can be a disaster. You lose first down, you're off the field quickly, your defense gets tired, it becomes an ugly mess. So how frequently can they get in that rhythm? How often are they able to win first and second down, first down in particular, give themselves a chance to stay ahead of the chains and move the football and wear a defense out? Because in this offense, you're running a defense sideline to sideline, then you're taking your shots vertically after you get them worn down. A defense has to be able to cover the entire field. That's great, but you got to be able to win those early downs, and they couldn't at all last year. They lost first down. We all remember this. They lost first down at an alarming rate. It was so often 2nd and 12. Now it's 1st and 20, 1st and 15. 2nd and 11, 3rd and 7, quarterback's dead, punt, and that was us.
Yeah, I think that's the trick is once you get into game action. I already talked about this last hour, but this is something we've hit on all preseason long, which is, all right, you may master it, so to speak, given your skill level in practice. But then the first time you get overwhelmed in a game or you're too excited because you want this thing to move quicker and you make mistakes, will one mistake beget another, or is he going to be able, Coach Briles, Coach Clemens, to wrangle everybody in? That was a gift that last year's combo of offensive coordinator and offensive line coach, they didn't have it.
Nobody on the same page.
Does this group?
Well, they won't be the convoluted mess that they were a year ago. They may not execute. They may not win games as many as we'd like, let's say, but it won't be because of mass confusion. They know what they're doing. They know what they're implementing, and I think the kids will know what's expected of them as well. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
To revisit negotiations before the end of the 2019 league year to extend the contract, but it is expected that they will do just that. The Red Sox turn to Rick Porcello tonight against the Royals as the defending World Series champs attempt to end an 8-game losing streak, their longest slide since 2015. Starting pitching's been one of Boston's biggest problems during the skid, notes ESPN MLB analyst Alex Rodriguez.
Take the last 8 starts for their starters, 37 innings pitched, over a 10 ERA. Those are not championship numbers. They have to fix it and fix it fast. Luckily for them, they have the Royals coming in. They have Rick Porcello, who won the Cy Young 3 years ago. Time for Porcello and other starters to get going.
The Red Sox have won their last 8 games against the Royals. Yankees infielder Gio Urshela, who fouled balls off both legs in the same at-bat last night, said he expects to play tonight against the Orioles. Yankees infielder Gleyber Torres underwent tests on what skipper Aaron Boone called a core issue, the team awaiting those results. The Mets put second baseman Robinson Cano on the injured list with a left hamstring strain. It is his 3rd stint on the IL in less than 3 months. NBA ESPN's reporting Draymond Green's new 4-year, $100 million extension with the Warriors includes a 15% trade kicker. If he were to get dealt next summer, the kicker would equate to an extra $11 million. Green's just the 22nd player in the league and 3rd on Golden State to have that kind of escalator in his deal.
Need help moving? 2 Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit 2men.com or call them at 850-224-2232. 2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
Introducing Hardee's Charbroiled Double Deals for $2.49 each. Your choice of the double cheeseburger, the new bacon cheddar double, or backed by popular demand, the Hardee's Classic. They're double, the beef, triple, the options. You probably noticed the echo. It happens when we double, beef, and triple the options with our Charbroiled double deals for $2.49 each. It's kind of epic. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Double the meat is compared to the small cheeseburger. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Price may vary. Tax not included.
Hey, Tallahassee, it's me, the Capitol Building. I know you've cracked some jokes about my awesome tower and pearly symmetrical domes. It's okay, because from on high, I see a serious problem in this town. Scores of people like yourself, confused, hungry, not knowing what to eat for a delicious downtown breakfast or lunch. Well, have no fear. Just a stone's throw away from my observation deck are the best people in the business, Metro Deli. Breakfast, eat, sandwiches, and wraps, too. Metro Deli is the spot for you. Oh, yeah, Metro Deli. And hey, don't throw stones from my deck. That's not cool. Someone might get hurt.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Don't start your day off with the same old boring breakfast. Stop by the Bagel Market and Bistro on Thomasville Road and the Persimmon Hills Shopping Plaza. They have fresh baked bagels and cream cheese every Monday for only $1.50. Green smoothies and great salads like the spinach apple salad. Muffins and cinnamon rolls are also options for breakfast. Sandwiches, salads, and more for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week. Check them out online at thebagelmarketandbistro.com or on Facebook and give them a call at 765-0598.
Are you looking for a trucking company you can work with till retirement? If so, join the Early Trucking family that has been trucking for over 25 years. ETC is now hiring regional dry van drivers. Benefits include working with new equipment, a $60,000 average salary, paid time off and sick leave, driving primarily no-touch freight, and running mostly in the Southeast. Plus, a 34-hour restart at home each week. ETC offers a benefit package that's second to none, including 401k, Blue Cross Blue Shield Health, vision and dental insurance, and a $25,000 life insurance policy while employed. Go to earlytruckingcompany.com to fill out an application. Help ETC keep agriculture in motion.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Check out the latest 2019 inventory at TallahasseeDCJ.com today.
So during the break, I read this to Tom, but it's staggering. You should know it. You don't even have to be a fan. You don't have to care about the Bucs at all, but God dog, man, this is pitiful. When assessing our pro team and their sorry record over the last 8 years, or in particular, let's just say the last 4 years, it helps to note that they one of the reasons they have a poor record in close games is they don't make kicks. They never do. They always kind of, like, to the point where, we do this on teams with poor closers. I frequently bring up on the Jeff Cameron Show that one of the pangs you feel down deep in your cockles, places you don't like to talk about, is when you know that after an investment of some 3, sometimes 4 hours, there's a good chance in a 1 or 2 run game you're not going to hold on to victory because your bullpen is garbage. And yet you sit and await the suffering. And you watch it play out because you can't look away. It's your team. The same could be said about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Each and every time a crucial kick, which is in a league that's built around a salary cap, thus 8-8 performances, all of them could be described as crucial. Most games do come down to the fourth quarter. It's a score here or there. It's an opportunity. It's a chance to take control. So those kicks when the game's tied at 7, or to put you up by 2 scores in the second half to where a mistake doesn't doom you to certain death. Well, those kicks, they never go through the uprights. Whether we're talking about Roberto Aguayo and that failed experiment of taking a kicker in the second round.
No pressure.
Whether you're talking about a veteran like Nick Folk, who was brought in, whether you're talking about no names that you've already forgotten about, like Kyle Brinza or Chandler Catazero. We can go on. We've tried a lot of guys for the reason that I'm describing. They don't make kicks, so we got to try the next guy. and then the next guy, and then the next guy. But oftentimes when you go back statistically and you look at your bullpen and or your kickers or other areas of failure that spells certain doom for your team, you find that the numbers aren't as bad as it feels. In your mind, they never do anything right, but statistically that proves not to be true. That's not true with the Bucks. They're as bad as we think they are in this category. They've been the worst at kicking, just kicking. Now imagine you're a Buccaneer. Think about kicking and special teams and the weight that you feel when their presence is necessary. They've been the worst kicking team in all of professional football over the last 4 years, and that includes the Chargers, who also never make a kick. GM Jason Light, obviously, haplessly cycled through the kickers I just named in an effort to solve this problem. Tampa Bay has hit on 72% of its field goal tries over the last 4 years, in a league in which the average kicker has hit 84.4%. We're at 72. The average kicker, not the best, just the average kicker in this league, 84% of their tries. No other team in the league is below 78%. We're bringing that average way down,
Oh,
Tom.
yes, we are.
We're responsible for that average at 84.4. It would be much higher.
85.6.
Easily over 85% of the kicks would be made on average if the Bucks didn't exist, but we do. So that average is below 85% because we make them at a clip of 72%. The Bucks have been nearly 3 standard deviations below the mean in this category over the last 4 years.
3 standard deviations. For all you stat heads out there, you know what that is. If you're not a stat head, that's awful.
I didn't even think it was possible. These are professional kickers. These are people who kicked, presumably, really well in college. You would have assumed that some.
Well, they're still good. They're making over 70% of their kicks.
Damn it, man. That is, wow. You think your team's bad. We make 72% of our kicks. I guarantee you your kicker's better. Guarantee it. I mean, this is not up for debate.
It's not a wow. It's not. It
feels that way. It feels that way. Remember that year? I think, Red Sox fans will remember, and they're going through a trying year right now, but on the heels of winning a World Series, you can live with it. They can't pitch, so they're getting clubbed. But there was a year many moons ago, decade ago, maybe longer, probably longer, yes, because time flies now to me, in which they started a year, and I think they blew something absurd, like 18 of 25 save attempts to start a year. It was crazy. Got their manager fired. Yeah, I mean, literally they fired their manager because, they didn't know what else to do. They're like, ah. And they rolled out 6-7 different guys. They all got lit like a Christmas tree, and that was the end of it, right?
Manager yells in the GM's room, "It's not my fault." And then he leaves the GM's office after he was fired. Whew, you know what? This feels better than I thought it would.
Yeah, I don't have to watch these losers roll out of the pen and cost me another game. So, anyhow, I remember that, and I remember thinking, saved their life. And it happened in so many ways. And ESPN did a montage of like all the crazy ways they had lost games because of their bullpen, including some that were, they had like a 5-run lead with 2 outs in the 9th and they lost and things like that, where you're like, one ball hits to somebody, anything. That's the Bucks kicking. That's us right there. That's a 34-yarder. Shanked it left. My God. He just shanked a 34-yarder.
It doesn't matter what camera angle it is, too. Because sometimes I'm superstitious about that. Oh, no.
Don't give us this angle. You don't like the one behind the kicker?
I don't like the one behind the kicker.
You like the one from the uprights?
I like the usual extra point camera. That one feels more fair. The one behind the kicker feels like
you're setting us up for a miss
tilted.
That you've done, and you do all the Bucks games. Why are you stunned to see another miss? You should say as the
take it away by that point because it's over. That game's over.
Yeah,
but he held on to it.
Brewers, Pirates, Jordan Lyles, former Bucco. Garbage. Statistically garbage. Not as a human being. Dario Agrazal, whoever the hell that is, pitching for the Pirates. Got a great start his last time, man. The Yankees and the Orioles, Masahiro Tanaka and Gabriel Noah. White Sox, Tigers, Lucas Giolito, Spencer Turnbull. We got the Royals and the Red Sox. All right, Boston, if you can't beat the Royals, just call it a day. Mike Montgomery goes for Kansas City. Rick Porcello going for the Red Sox. Angels, Reds, Taylor Cole, Luis Castillo. Blue Jays, Rays. This is a fun name. Blue Jays are going to throw Jacob Wagyu in 10 starts at Tropicana Field this year. 6-1 with a 2.77 and over 61 innings pitched. Likes the Trop. Rangers, Indians, Mike Minor, Aaron Cavale. A's, Cubs, Chris Bassett, Kyle Hendricks. Braves, Twins, Mike Soraka, Jake Odorizzi. The Phillies and the D-backs, Vince Velasquez, Merrill Kelly. Nationals, Giants. Boy, what a sleep. Eric Feed. Jeff Samardzija. Cardinals, Dodgers, Michael